knockout best of 16 or round of 16, not best of 16. Oh God, no. Let's not go there.
But we are about to go live. As a matter of fact, we have Element of Surprise from North America and Taktaktak from, I believe, the Eastern Asian region, so Korea, if I'm not mistaken. We are going live right now. Element of Surprise on Survivor first. Taktaktak on the Special Infected. We will do a quick roster rundown after this first hit. It's going to be a Spitter, Smoker, Jockey, Charger coming in right now from Taktaktak. Nice charge landing there with the smoke momentarily as well. Everything cleared very quickly, but the spit does go down on top of Shady. And with that being said, for Element of Surprise from North America, we have Tool, Shady, Haxer Mode, aka Hib, and Lucky Lock. And who do we have from Taktaktak, Kiss Me?
Over on Team Taktaktak, we're going to have M4, Caesar, Kuma, and Maton. And yes, that is the same N4 that used to play with Grizz a while back. Very, very well-known player, even here in the North American region. And obviously, his name carries over into the Eastern continent as well. Or, yes, Eastern continent, I guess that is correct in saying that. But yeah, first tank game will be up in the hands of Caesar yet again for TAK 3, which will be the abbreviation / tag. And he's going to start working these hit bulls in from far away.
It is. That hit getting shut down in the back there. Open field, Tri-Cap, Jockey, Smoker, Charger. Getting cleared pretty quickly because this area right here is pretty good for the survivors. I should also mention this will be a best of 2 doubleheader game. We are on the North American server first, so the ping advantage going to Element of Surprise. And Caesar's actually working all these hittables in here. Nice strategy, I think, coming out because if they can get a wipe here when they're on their away server just from these hittable plays, that would be pretty optimal. But he is going to be close to second pass as he's working these in. Jockey, Boomer, Hunter, I don't know exactly about that for the hit that they're going to want to work with. Boomer spawning up though. Imagine to get a single. We might see a commit here.
Indeed, yeah, he's going to start moving his way towards this car with that single boom that did go out. That's going to harness a little bit of horde here to fall on the Sarves. He's going to start working his way around here, trying to get the Sarves to fall towards the car, but not going to find it. But he does find a double punch for his troubles. Another double punch onto Coach Andrew Shell here. Turns his attention over to Coach as well. Going to get another punch on him. But he is down to under subpar 1,000 HP. Random hittable. That connects! What a slap there by Caesar onto that dumpster for the final hit of his tank as he died off. And the Charger goes in here, does manage to connect there on the Hib, but that will, yeah, that was actually Hib, but immediately gets cleared. And yeah, so that will be the end of attack, at the attack and the tank, if I can find my voice here. I'm still like getting over allergies a little bit. In fact, I'm like in the midst of it, so trying to pull through here. But yeah, that was actually a really well played tank. We have 2 survivors completely bleeding out. I mean, Hib has a little sliver of HP left, but that's not really going to last him that much longer. So Lucky Lock is officially damage bonus. He's going to start ticking down in that regard. But another attack coming in here, though. Hunter Jockey working the way in the front line here. Hunter getting skied. Jockey not finding anything, just gets shot in the face, though, by Ellis while he's on the ground. And the Boomer lands a single boom. Spit not having any luck either. And that'll be it for that attack.
Honestly, on that tank right there, that was excellent play by Team Taktaktak because they sent the hittables in, but they didn't rely on them until that last hit at the end where the tank was able to slap it against the fence and ricochet into Lucky Lock's face. But before that, he got a multi-punch. He was able to spread the damage around a little bit off that single boom. I was originally questioning exactly that support for that situation, but they managed to make it work as the Hunter went in a little bit and opened up opportunities for the tank. Nice single boom going out right there. Now we are going to have that Smoker landing. Charger is going to miss. Everything is pretty much going to be shut down. But the problem now for Element of Surprise is that they've got almost somebody else in Shady who has to commit their pills, and 2 people are fully bleeding for the duration of this event. And I think going back here, I guess, is the right call, but they're going to pay for it and how much they bleed out.
Yeah, that's kind of the downfall that you see a lot of teams facing when they actually do take that early tank pretty hard to the face and they start bleeding. Obviously, the actual bleed out itself won't be what affects their health bonus at all, as the damage bonus is only affected directly by damage done to the damage bonus, or the temporary, if you will. And yeah, we'll actually see them actually start pushing back forward here. Oh, so a little bit of a juke out here, it seems, from EOS. Oh, no, they're juking me out. They might go back. They're staying still now. I'm not too sure. I think they're just staying for the hit now. But the hit's going to be consisting of a Jockey, Boomer, Spitter, and a Hunter. So 2-2, not the best for this area. Boomer coming in from a mile away, doesn't find anything. Hunter getting nothing as of just yet. Gets actually skied by the Uzi. And the Jockey getting cleared off immediately off of Rochelle's hair. And that'll be the attack over and done with. And EOS quick to make their way towards the boat. And they might make it before the next hit comes out.
I think that was the goal because they know that, as we mentioned, they were bleeding. But staying in that area was pretty good for them. They shut down the 2-2 pretty well. That Jockey landed for a couple ticks of damage. But I think they're probably figuring they can make the boat here. But the problem is I think they might have mistimed that because there's already a hit up and there's still common coming in from Taktaktak. And now they are juking me out because they're going to go over here and hold out another hit. I actually like this call to transition right there. If they had pushed the boat there, they would have paid for it. But if they stand here and take one final hit, they should be able to go far. And they're also going to luck out that there is no Spitter in this rotation. It's going to be a Charger, Smoker, Jockey, Boomer for Team Taktaktak who might actually wait for when they come out, but now it's going to be a little bit of a bleeding game, but we have a crash coming out from one of the special infected.
And we did be doing a little bit of an interesting tidbit. I haven't been able to say this yet because we haven't actually casted the game of Talk 3 yet. But they were actually, or they are actually some of the backups for Envy, which is something that came to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, really? And then, sure enough, actually, they are the remaining players of Envy, or at least their backups, I guess, which is still part of Envy. So, very interesting. They've done very well thus far in the tournament. And supposedly, according to the Asians, they are the strongest Eastern Asian team that is in this tournament. And they've definitely shown it thus far. They've had some very impressive wins. So, let's see what ends up happening here with this game. I think they could... I really think, in my personal opinion, that Talk 3 is the favored team in this match, just because of the competition that they face and their players' history, or histories, I should say. I really think that they can take this over EOS, especially if they can keep it close on this away game.
Honestly, though, even in Ace Mod, I was kind of thinking about that, as you mentioned, because even though the ping disparity is what it is on this server, you would expect Team Element Surprise to get some kind of, like, even on, like, Swamp Fever 1 and Ace Mod compared to Pro Mod, because Pro Mod's bonuses are even larger, but Ace Mod bonus on this map can still be pretty damn devastating if the survivors can make it with good health. But even pre-boat, obviously after the tank, like, Element Surprise is going to have to keep that bonus on Tool and Shade to have any chance of doing that. And then I'm just imagining what would happen, you know, obviously with the same tank spawns and whatever, if we go over to the Asian server, and for some reason Team Element Surprise isn't able to get as much damage on their tank, and you could just see like the disparity opening right there if Team Talk 3 is able to get like 1,400 or 1,200 points on this first chapter, and Element Surprise only gets like 500 or 600 in a game where the teams are gonna try to be this close. That could be really, really important to see how it goes down. So if those maps keep having that kind of disparity, like I expect Element Surprise, if they're to win this series, they have to score between like they have to score over 4,000 points, I think, on this home server somehow. That's what I'm just going to say. Because when you mentioned it, like, because they're one of the best teams in Asia, when we go over to that Asian server where they have the best ping possible, I have a feeling they're going to play us out of their minds, unless Team Element Surprise is able to do the same thing we've seen so far from Talk 3. But I would say Element Surprise needs to get between, like, 3.5, 4K on Swamp Fever here on this home game. And so far, the Survivor play has been okay, but it hasn't been what they need yet, I don't think.
Yeah, in my opinion, this Survivor play by EOS is something that will be very replicable or easily replicated by Top 3. And they need to perform extraordinarily well, to say the least. And they have to really hit hard on the S side to break down Top 3. Because, as everyone here in the community probably knows at this point, the Eastern Asians are known for their dominant Survivor. I mean, you look at the top NA teams, and that's pretty much what every single Eastern Asian team is like on the Survivor side. And in the history, from what I've seen of the Eastern Asian teams, it's normally on their SI where they kind of falter. But their Survivor play, there's not much you can say about it. It's just, it's a brick wall, especially when you have to try and get, 4 SI in towards them close enough to actually cap and, well, you have to get close to spit, but everything else you have to, somewhat be coordinated and hit well. But their Survivors are just insane.
Yeah, and obviously for Swamp Fever here, in terms of the Ace Mod changes, it's a much different game on Ace Mod than it is on Pro Mod in terms of one key element, which is that water slowdown removal here. That gives the survivors a lot more room to work with. And again, playing on high ping here, even though they're on red ping, as we've seen so far, one, obviously we know the Koreans have the best internet technically in the world, I'm pretty sure at this point, just in terms of routing and strength, but then also the interesting part about it is I think because of their coordination, just the way that they played, obviously say what you will about them being Envy's backups or whatever, but I think their Survivor could actually surprise us here on the away server anyway, because as we mentioned, M4 on Apollyon for however long he was, and all these players have experience playing on that high ping. And when you get used to the high ping, that's what's hard about it, but then when you get used to it, then it can become just as devastating as low ping in some sense. Obviously, it's going to be hard to M2 things, and it's not going to be as good, but when you get used to it, you understand your limitations, and they can play really, really well, because the other thing is, like, positioning wise, I'm pretty sure the teams from Asia have a pretty distinct ability to be precise with where they stand and everything else like that. Like, you're not going to catch in that position too much. Of course, now what's going to happen is they're going to be out of position, they're going to get wiped by a random hittable, but again, you can only go so far. Statistically, on paper, that's what I expect from them.
Yeah, and we're just trying to figure out the slots right now. Did that vote just go through to limit slots to 12? Because I think that's not enough.
I didn't see it. And the other problem is there are 6 people waiting to join.
Yeah.
Hib's on the wrong account. So Hib has admin, but he's on his wrong account.
Yeah, and I was just told that I actually have admin. Dustin just messaged me. I don't know if it's going to have to wait for this map to change, though. Okay. We might have to go to map 2 for it to take effect. But yeah, this is bound to be a hell of a game and a hell of a series at that, because we will be seeing yet again a home and away game. It's just a matter of this game actually resuming and going live once again. We're waiting on that 4th player of Talk 3 to actually come back.
Obviously, not a whole lot's happened so far, just from those first couple exchanges right there. Like, I would say Talk has done a pretty good job on their special infected side here with the damage that they've got. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on these hits that happen after the boat, but I can say probably after this hit here, Element of Surprise should be able to make it without a whole lot of issues, but it depends on, they still have what, a Smoker, Charger, Boomer. Like, this is a game honestly where every hit could potentially be important and that kind of stuff, depending on how close the teams are, and also based on the fact that there's 2 games to play here. And I assume when we go over to the other side, we're going to be able to have stacked tank spawns, right? So we're going to be able to make everything the same.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, it says I'm not allowed to use that command. Let me try this one.
I don't know. F slot 14, F slot 14 would just be. Do you do the C-bar command?
No, Dustin didn't only have access to that one.
Okay. Gotta wait until the half. Alright, that's fine, whatever. So there are 2 people waiting to join. I think the last player for Talk 3 did connect, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't seen him in the join queue yet. I don't know if that's accurate or not in terms of what's going on. But...
We might be maxed out on players. No, actually, we're at 16 out of 20 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going live. All right, so M4 has started us off here, and I think he must be loading in. Yeah, there he is, waiting to join, but I assume someone's going to accidentally snag that spot on that team. We do have a nice single boom going out on to a Hib over there, and yeah, actually, I was right. Uprising is in that spot. He needs to spec real quick in order for that to go down. I think they'll probably tell him about that, but the rest of the hit is coming in. We do have the charge going out, and the pull is going to get cleared at the same point in time, but almost pulling Hib off the dock as well, and now the last member of Talk 3 is indeed back on to his team. So pretty much halfway through the map, we have 2 survivors almost in full bleed. Hib has still a little bit of permanent bonus. Shady has half of his permanent HP, and Tool still has the majority of the health bonus.
Indeed, so they are sitting pretty well after those last couple 2 hits. They shut them down pretty well. The tank still, though, did a hell of a number onto them, to say the least. And actually, you just noticed, for me, this light bulb on the boat is actually out now. Isn't that supposed to be lit? I mean, the floor
it's
below
on for me.
Oh, it's off for me. I guess my light bulb's dead. But yeah,
I'm gonna tell the non-casting Koreans to get out.
Well, it's true. I mean, I understand they want to be here and root for the teams and whatnot, but you know, they gotta just watch the streams. Unfortunately, we don't want any ghosting, any unnecessary or unwarranted plays coming out from any spectators. No big plays from specs.
Not today, not today. The next hit for Talk 3 is going to be a Charger, Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey. Element Surprise pushing their way out of the boat, making their way across the pier, and actually not having the hit go in yet. Now it's going to be Jockey coming in from the left, trying to land onto Coach. Hunter from the back. Hunter's going to get nice and skewed. Charger is going to miss as well. Jockey lands for a split second. Spit's going to go down onto Rochelle. That is a little bit more damage onto the permanent health, but not a whole lot. The caps are relatively quickly cleared and/or dodge and/or shut down, Kiss Me. So nice take from EOS there.
Indeed, they're going to make very quick work of this map, making their way up on the docks on the right side, not taking the long route, which is to the left, which normally yields a set of pills or something. But they're going to go ahead and risk missing them and just continue the way through the map, as they don't actually have any pills left on them, their beings. And they have 3 survivors that could potentially be slow because they're all bleeding out at this point, except for Tool. Once again, Tool, very, very well-known player, very solid. Spoker pull going out here on the look, not going to pull him towards the bushes, not going to find anything. Boomer actually pulling him away from the boom, so saving his neck there a little bit. And that's going to leave 2 SI dead, and actually 3 SI dead, and only the Spitter up here for the Witch. And I'm assuming EOS is just going to play it safe and avoid her. There's no real reason to risk this.
Yeah, they're just going to dodge the Witch. They still have about an 88% damage bonus, I'm pretty sure, and then like 23% health. So they should be able to get into the safe room without a whole lot of incident here, although Lucky Lock is slow in the back, so this might trigger the last hit from Talk 3. It is going to. Hunter, Jockey, Charger, Spitter going in. Jockey from the left, trying to land on L. It's not going to work. Hunter's going to go nice skeet by Hib. Charger misses. Nice shutdown. This is the kind of survivor play that we need to see. And Team Element Surprise is going to make it to the safe room on their home server with a total score of 884 for Map 1 Swamp Fever.
Indeed, and for some reason my scoreboard is messed up. My score is completely different. It ticked up for EOS on the graph, but the actual team score moved over to Talk 3.
Oh, that's funny. So basically what you're saying is, as the admin, you've given all the points to the away team.
Yes. All right. Okay, now it's correct. Unless it ticks up for EOS again, which I don't think it will, but for now it's correct.
Not bad, not bad. But like I said, you know, in terms of Swamp Fever bonuses here, I have seen a lot higher, like 1200 or 1300, something like that. So now it really does come down to what Element of Surprise this tank can do on this map, and then how they're going to play with the higher ping on the other server. So again, I think Hib's about to go get on his other account so he can come in and limit the spec slots and or kick people who he needs to. But I'll be very interested to see exactly how this tank plays out, depending on what Element of Surprise looks to do. Are they going to go rock? Are they going to go hittables? I mean, a wipe in this area I really wouldn't expect, but they need to get at least comparable damage in order to keep this competitive.
Indeed. So we'll see what Team Taktaktak can do here. Once again, I don't expect to see a wipe coming out from this tank, but I do expect at least a little bit of damage, especially with those higher pinging survivors. For these guys actually wondering, I saw a little bit of chat going out about it. The Koreans are only pinging, what, like 220? It's not too bad.
What lowest is 138, highest is 206.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can't say the numbers. I was assuming it was around 2, but wow. That's actually really good. Yeah. I mean, once again, we know that Koreans just have some amazing internet. They pretty much have dedicated lines going to every single major like data center, server farm in the world. So yeah, they have some pretty good internet, to say the least, and this shows it. But Hib has rejoined, so we're going to be waiting on him and Shady to ready up here. One vote coming out here to limit the slots, I do believe. As all I saw was a percentage sign, vote accepted or vote passed, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be good for him just to stay on this account at this point, because I assume something else is going to happen in terms of, limiting or something like that. He has gone back to his old avatar, which he's used for the past few years besides that, so that's a little bit refreshing. Maybe it'll give them a little bit of a familiarity for their special infected play, I don't know.
Indeed, and yeah, as Hans mentioned, it's like, what would you say, 103 to 180 or 190? Something like that.
Yeah,
ping range.
M4 has 204, and then Mason has 138. He's actually yellow on this server, which, again, this is a Colorado server, so it's in that sweet spot between Chicago and Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles probably would have been a little bit tougher even to play on in terms of Element Surprise, since Lucky Lock is from the right side of the hemisphere. So with that being said, we are going to be going live right here at Taktaktak on the Survivor side now. Element Surprise sitting in hit. Charger almost managing to land, but we do see the double cap go out from that jockey, and Smoker's death spit on the smoke as well. That's a nice amount of damage kissing off that first hit.
Dude, that was pretty beautiful, actually. That Charger and those SI actually almost set the Charger up for a double charge. He barely missed the jockey and the smoke. I think the jockey pulled away at the last second because he didn't want the Charger to only take that one survivor. He kind of was aiming for that double charge with the spit going down. But yeah, oh god, now I know why you said that. Tank up in the hands of the infamous Tool, the toolbox himself, the hammer, the screw to your, well, the screwdriver to your screw, the pile driver to your concrete. Or was that a jackhammer? Jackhammer to your concrete. The Tool.
The Tool. That's what I mean. When I say that, I love seeing Tool's tanks. I've casted I don't know how many of his matches and stuff like that, and usually I don't know if I've ever seen him play a tank that would be considered just outright bad. Like, usually they're great, sometimes they're mediocre, but most of the time you can expect a show coming out from his tanks. He's such a smart and intelligent player with the way that he does it, but he is going to work his way over to the left. This could be a pretty quick commit. He hit the one car, and now he's going for the dumpster, so I think he's just going to go for it right here, which would be pretty interesting. Maybe not, actually. He's going to put that dumpster and then retreat back. That Charger does get shut down. Jockey Boomer for the other two support. Boomer going in, imagine you get a single right there. Tank throwing a rock. Jockey also trying to jump around. And this is actually interesting because he's LOSing them from a pretty unconventional spot. He's going to be forced to transition out now, going back onto the roof. If the survivors feel like it, they probably could attempt to push forward, but I think Tool is going to choke them out with that hittable inside the fence there, Kiss Me.
Indeed, I'm kind of interested here. I'm not too sure why Team Taktaktak haven't actually decided to push forward. As we were talking about, the hittables are pretty much all on that one side, with the exception of that one car that's kind of stuck in the middle of the gas station fence. But I don't, actually, they're going to go for a rock here. Hunter Jockey their way in. Both Hunter and Jockey manage to land. Jockey can't get Coach off of the generator, but he does eat a rock, so it's going to refill Tool's rage up to 100%, still on first pass. And yeah, they should be pushing. Another rock on the Coach. Tool just lining him up and knocking him down. And here comes the rotation finally from Team Taktaktak. They're going to push forward here, leaving the hittables in the dust. But Tool does also still have one thing, the first pass, 80% rage. He can work these hittables back in towards the survivors. I mean, they have to push way forward to actually make him.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous because they have that smoker in the back there too. Smoker getting a pull. Tank obviously still in range. Hit coming in from EOS. Rock going in, not going to land. Now looks as though they want to push this tank back. Coach coming forward, actually rather going back in the map, trying to push that tank. Still on 80% rage on first pass. And I don't know if I like this position right now from Talk 3 because there are a lot of spawns around them, plus those trees, and the tank is doing a great job behind that sign of keeping that kind of rage. He's only lost about 30% so far, and they're in a pretty interesting position now, Kiss Me. This is unconventional.
Yeah, this is something you normally don't see. I mean, it's a fairly good area to fight with this hittable because the car's not the easiest thing to actually maneuver around those fences plus this tree. If you hit it low, it's going to clip the fence. If you hit it too high or too far to left or right, it's going to hit the tree. But Attack coming in here, Jockey and Smoke are both landing. Rock going in here, looking for the target, not going to find it. Ellis skeeting that rock out of there. Now the Hunter sitting up at the tree, looking for a pass on the coach, not going to find it. Hunter goes for a scratch it instead. I believe he did get that, but the Hunter will survive to fight another day. 92 HP left on him. Actually goes ahead and commits there onto coach, lands it. But now Tool, 35% rage, first pass. And he's losing rage quick here. He has to maneuver this car a little bit better than he has. That should be hittable. There we go. Actually goes over the fence there. But he's really far away from the survivors.
This is going to be really interesting. I think he's going to be able to get that in if it doesn't get stuck in the tree. Indeed, it didn't. Nice single boom going out. This could be really bad for Talk 3, depending on what Tool does with this car, because they're not in a very good position right now at all. And he's going to have some of them in a second, too. This is going to be the commit right here. Tool is going to probably try to work his way in. He's getting a second hittable, too. He has enough rage to do it. This is insane. I thought he was going to be just absolutely choked for sight, but instead, he's going to be able to get both his hittables in, and they're going to fight him either inside or on the waterfront. This is a really good position for US, as long as Tool lands his punches, and he is going to be committing right now. Hunter, Jockey, Charger, nice. He got the corner on to Coach right there, stuck in the ceiling. He has the in cap and still has 3k HP. Coach bouncing around outside. Tool pushing Nick to the side around the picnic table. Jockey managing to land. Charger going in as well. He's going to take that corner onto Ellis, looks like, and we are going to have Rochelle cutting everything over there. Now the pounce does go out. Tool still with 1700 HP. Going to work that car back over. This is not good so far for Talk 3. There's the dumpster cap onto Rochelle, and the Charger also has a land. Tool working his way back around, hitting the car across there. 3 in caps going out, and Tool's going to be able to go back and grind Rochelle right here, at least for another dumpster hit. Let's see if he can actually get the kill onto her. This is an insane amount of damage coming out from Team Element Surprise. We're going to be forced to back off now, Kiss Me, but look at the carnage.
Yeah, that's a massive amount of damage. They're going to have at least 3 survivors bleeding out here. Boomer going in, lands out onto Nick. Going to cause a little bit of horde. Actually, that's Coach. So horde out onto Coach here. Still 2 survivors down here. Kuma on the brink of dying here. If these guys can actually just play a little bit with the pickup, they can secure this wipe here. Or that kill at least. Nick getting pulled here. Coach still common locked here. Car going out by Tool. This could definitely be the wipe here. Heart, that's it.
Oh, shit.
Did that hit?
So close. No, it didn't hit, but he landed the one rock, and now Coach is still completely hoarded here. Tool's gonna throw another rock, and they're almost landing it in the doorway. This tank, Kiss Me, has been completely insane. That's why I said, oh god, when it came up, because something like this could happen. 1 survivor dead. This is gonna be eventually the wipe going out onto Talk 3 right here. Tool still keeping sight from back there. Single boom landing, coming across the top of the roof right here, throwing another rock, almost hitting Nick again. He still has sight. I have no idea how he has sight, but he does. Jockey's gonna go in there, manages to get the ride onto Nick, and that's the wipe, Kiss Me, from Tool's tank.
What a beautifully played tank, and wonderful SI as well. The dumpster hit off of the staircase back onto Rochelle was pretty nutty. That was just a hell of a tank by Tool in general, and definitely deserved the wipe there, and he got it. So that's going to be around a 600-point gap, or 664 points to be exact, for Team EOS here, heading into the second map on their home server. And I mean, albeit that's not the best scoreline you want after map 1, you would like to ideally kind of try and hit that 1K mark. But still, very well played by EOS on both Survivor and SI. That is probably, unfortunately, EOS's strongest tank out of the way, though. So they have to play up with these next 3 tanks.
Honestly, I mean, the next tanks in these areas, like, I don't know exactly what you'd call the wipe potential of this next tank to be, because it's in that open field area. So as long as the tank has a good, like, line of sight and is able to run around and not take as much chip and just not die randomly, I think that probably could get it an okay amount of damage, but you're not expecting a high damage potential. The one that could go either way is the one we just watched, and Tool is able to deliver that, obviously with the amazing tank that he has played. But if I'm Element Surprise right here, you're going to want to take, like, almost no damage on this next tank coming up, because it's going to be that open field rock tank, and you also don't have water slowdown to contend with, so you can move, you can play that pretty fast. As long as they play it in a way where they're being not conservative, but at least smart in terms of not taking stupid damage, that should be really, really good for them. They should be able to get a pretty nice bonus on this map, especially considering, like I said, with Ace Mod, the lack of the water slowdown. Hib saying hackers. Okay.
think he's just joking around. That was pretty insane, that tank, though. Tool's tanks are always so interesting, and he would have gotten that rock on, I believe it was Nick who was going in the doorway of that house, but Nick closed the door, not like the rock when he got through, but Tool threw the rock a little bit too far to the left, and it clipped the doorway, I believe. I don't know what's going on.
I think they need one more slot for somebody else to join from the Korean casting team, and Hib give it to him. So that's good, and you're welcome, friend. I approve of Hib's grammar. But at the same point in time, the one Tool tank that I remember the most is from, I think it was Watch Left 4 Dead. I think it was Serious Business versus AG Tabletop actually versus Hib. Just getting this insane wipe on Parish Map 2, and I just remember screaming about that for about 10 minutes. We do have Element of Surprise on the Survivor side right now. Smoker, Jockey, Charger, Spitter on the special infected. Spitter actually going into the safe room right there. Everything going into the safe room, getting mowed down. Interesting call there, Kissney.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the whole dogpile safe room tactic because the survivors, especially the ones with the Uzis, can literally just rail down or rail into the doorway. And as SI, I mean, that's your only path of attack there. So, I mean, you're gonna need a crap ton of damage walking through that doorway. But anyway, we'll see EOS take that first hit with barely any damage. Kuma being the only one that got any damage at all. I'm pretty sure that came from the spit as well, maybe the jockey. But that will be them pushing away forward here. And as you mentioned, this tank can go very good or very poorly. It's really up to the SI and how well they can actually land the boom, because we see a lot of SI here want to go in with that boom, draw the horde in from all around the survivors, and you know, just kind of lock them up for the tank to start going hand with the multis and the end caps and whatnot. But first, we have to see EOS make it to that point in time. Boom did go out onto Nick, obviously, drawing a little bit of horde, but it's quickly dispatched by EOS. And they're going to keep moving the way up to the crashed airliner.
They do have a Witch here, and they do have a couple spawns for the special infected to contend with, but it's going to be a Boomer, Charger, Spirit, Smoker, full hit now up. I mean, the first hit was kind of coordinated, but didn't do a whole lot of damage. Now this Witch is going to get drawn right here. Crown going out by Lucky Lock. Now the Charger's going to try to go in from the back, not going much of anything. Kiss me, for some reason, these hits from Talk 3 have been a little bit staggered on this chapter so far. I'm not exactly sure why, but obviously not a whole lot of damage going out on those first two hits, plus the quasi-stack of the two in the middle.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure what is on their minds right now. They might be thinking on different pages. It might take them a little bit to actually dial into the correct thoughts and the right page of what they're going to be doing here with the hits and whatnot. But we'll be seeing. Hopefully they can crack down the SI a little bit harder, because EOS, once again, a very strong survivor, not going to be ones to really crack under the pressure or the longevity of these two games. They're going to stay sturdy through it all. Jockey landing on Nick here. This could be the beginning of it. Jockey or Charger misses there, though, and that unfortunately didn't come to any real gain there for it. Team Taktaktak. EOS very light on their toes, quick to clear, and dodging that Charger as well.
It's really interesting to me, too, to see how EOS plays with their different lineups right here, but when you look at the Survivor players who they have, you know, Tool, Shady, aka Azula, aka Pondfiller, for some reason, he's just always been, like, a really good Survivor player that I've seen, like, every single time that I've watched him, and just that kind of consistency, too, and they're not even playing with Han right now, so like, just seeing how they run usually with more than one shotgun, usually 2 or 3, that does really help their shutdown potential, especially in open areas like this where it's hard to land much of anything. Smoker coming in from the left-hand side, managing to land right there. They do land a quick 2-cap, but again, the clears are absolutely instantaneous. Jockey goes on for a little bit more chip damage. That's a little bit more damage than the US would have wanted to see, even though it was minuscule right there, but getting any kind of really good hit in this open area is so hard to do.
Yeah, I don't really think we're going to be seeing any big hit or big damage coming out here unless some Charger lands like a sick charge, and then Cappers come in second, and but yeah, that's like a dream hit. That's not going to happen with teams of this caliber, because the moment that Charger comes up, he's going to start getting pelted down by these buckshots. But we'll see them holding out the rest of the event here little by little. They probably have another like 30 seconds of it. Hunter coming from the back does manage to land onto Tool. Charger gets shut down. Spit goes on top of the Tool, though, and that's going to cause a little bit more damage on him, dropping him around 15 damage. He was just on the edge of that Spit, so not that much coming from it. And EOS is going to start moving forward here, actually. They're going to have a little bit more horde. Pause coming out. But let's see if there's any reason for a pause. Maybe Han got on and they're going to sub him in? Don't know.
I'm not sure, because like I said, they've been playing pretty well with the lineup that they have. Like, that's the thing. Like, they actually have a little bit... I have, like, mouse... Oh, Hib. Hib, your mouse acceleration is hurting you right now. But like I said, like, even, like, they have roster depth in the sense that the two people on their team who aren't playing right now are Han and Relapse, and both of those players have been around forever. Both of them have had pretty damn good finishes in tournaments, and at the same point in time, like, again, whatever lineup they come out with, I don't know how it is chemistry-wise. Probably having Han and Hib on the same team might be the best there, because Han has wrangled Hib for the past, like, 2.5 or 4 years, actually. Not 2.5, yeah, it's been, like, since 2012 or something. But again, the lineup that they have right here in front of us, obviously we want to see what they should be getting in any like perfect world in terms of scores and stuff like that, but they're playing against Talk 3, so it's kind of like whatever kind of advantage they can get and hold is going to be good for them going into that second game. And the thing is, everybody on EOS 2 also has that similar experience of playing on high ping.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been around for this long, you've bound to have played in some international tournaments, so you have that feel of what's like to play with yellow, red ping, 150, 200, 250. Anything over 300 is just irrational, though. It's very hard to play on that. There's those certain borders of high ping where you start noticing huge differences in the gameplay and how the game actually feels. The first one is like when you hit like 110, next is like 170, 180, and then... Yeah, he's stuck for now. He'll unstick in a second. There we go.
There we go.
But yeah, the third level is like once you hit like, I think it was like 250 or 260, like the game just totally starts going bonkers. It's unlike any other game like Dota, CSGO, you can play at that relatively well. But in this game, it's just like everything just starts glitching out. It's like your screen is just like, what is going on?
Yeah. It turns into like a PowerPoint presentation, as Bravo mentioned in that one game that we saw the other week. But looks as though EOS are about to try to get this tank up. It's going to be a Boomer Spitter Smoker Charger for this next hit. So not bad from Talk 3, depending if they can actually land it. But I think EOS are going to play pretty well. Hib is trying to get on top to block the top spawns, but most of the SI are coming from underneath right there. They can afford to bait out a little bit. They actually had baited that Charger out. And I think we're going to see a dance here coming out from EOS. Imagine to actually get the Charger to drop off the top right there. So that's going to pretty much negate the chance of anything coming from above the survivors. Hib's still trying to do his job, blocking in the back, and I swear to God, one of these teams is from Asia, but I didn't expect it to be the one that's baiting for the past 6 minutes now. We are going to have a nice double boom going out. Smoker is going to get a pull as well, does get cleared, spitting around on nothing. Nice take right there from EOS besides the eating of that double boom. This Charger is still up. I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole lot.
Yeah, this Charger's pretty much all but dead at this point. He might be able to get a couple punches down the survivors. There goes Coach dropping down. Charger actually charges into the tree, though, and the Uzi from Tool will be the finishing blow to him, shutting him down. And so far, the survivor with the lowest HP, surprisingly enough, is Tool. Usually, you don't see his HP ever drop. But tank coming out for Martin in the hopes of Taktaktak. Nice rock there onto Rochelle, though. So Shady eating the first hit from that tank. Gonna start working on his rage.
Commit.
Yeah, he's gonna commit, actually.
I thought he was going to because they were coming. That's why I made the noise that I did. Nice punch going out. SI coming in just to get some stumbles here for this tank in the open field. Hits another multi-punch right there. Boomer's gonna land well. He has 3k HP, pushing into the survivors, turning back around, managing to hit Hib across the map as well. He is pretty much alone right now. Rock going in, not going to land. Tank should attempt to decommit at least. I think that's what he's going to try to do, but the survivors are going to push him very, very hard. Rock going in and not going to land. This would now be a dead tank theoretically, but he's actually going to manage to finagle his way into the bushes there, kind of out of sight of the survivors. He's still in first pass, but he has less than 1k HP, and they need to hunt this tank down right now. They've already taken a pretty good amount of damage. Rock's going to go in, but there is another hit coming up as well. Looks as though they're actually not going to be able to kill the tank. He's going to work his way back to the middle here with the rest of his hit coming in. Smoker's not going to be able to land. Charter going in from the side. Rock going in, not going to land either. And the tank is going to stay in his position here, trying to throw some curve rocks. Interesting idea to commit there, Kiss Me. That's exactly what I thought he should have done, because he did get a pretty good amount of damage from it.
Yeah, that was beautiful. He got a couple double punches and a lot of singles. We see pretty much all the stars dropping down to the yellow. They all have committed their pills except for Lucky Lock, who once again is on the brink of being yellow. He's sitting at 42 HP. And yeah, this tank, 230 HP left, being hunted by the survivors methodically here. And they're not able to find this last little bit of damage here. He's being very careful here, playing this out as long as he can. He knows that these rocks, even though his HP low, they're still going to deal 24 damage a pop. So he's still worth quite a bit. Charge goes in. I'm not too sure what that angle charge was, but he got a nice double punch on the two survivors. And the Hunter Jockey just getting killed off easily. And the tank's actually going to send it AI, it seems. I would follow them if I was him.
I think right now, I think he knows he's far enough away to where they might just risk blowing another hit to get that one spawn. But I really do agree with the idea to commit right there, because like I said, Element Surprise was looking to not take almost any damage at all at that tank. They decided to push forward into a little bit of common. He committed in there and landed a good amount of punches in that open field. Now, this is something that Team Talk 3 Survivor can beat. Nice quad boom going out, though. This could be a lot more damage going out, depending on what these other two SI do. Smoker going for a pull in the back. Managing to land onto Lucky Lock. He is permanent health bonus. And here comes the tank. The tank is going to actually throw a rock. Managing to land it onto Hib. That's even more damage coming out from this. And this actually could be a death onto Lucky Lock. Tank throwing another rock, almost laying onto Hib's face. AI tank. Actually, it's not AI tank. It's still in control of a player. I thought it was AI. I was like, what? But instead, this is going to still be a continuation of that rock tank, as a matter of fact. Now, this is really bad for EOS. They push forward, eating that quad boom was a really crucial error. Rock going in, not going to land. Hunter does land and Kiss Me. This is catastrophic now, I would say, for EOS.
Yeah, and this is what I really wanted to see. Them just continue moving up with the tank. Rock almost connecting onto Rochelle's face. He did get it off, but they were not able to finish them off there. But look at that last hit from on the EOS. The amount of health that just ripped away from them. That destroyed their health bonus. Down to 10%. Damage was at 95. Boomer landing onto one survivor, that being Nick. But see, even that last 238 HP from that tank caused so much havoc on them. And that's why I'm happy that they actually followed the survivors and actually, still played out and didn't send AI, because then it was definitely a dead tank.
I thought he was too far away, that's why I said he should AI it, but instead he managed to just keep his sight just barely at the end there. Now EOS is going to try to make their way to the safe room. Last hit coming in, Smoker trying to get a pop. Nice double cap landing, as a matter of fact. Oh, that's a lot of damage on the Lucky Lock. Their bonus is going to be partially obliterated right here. Kiss Me, this is really not good for a second chapter score for a home server, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely not. And that incap on Lucky Lock just decimated their damage bonus even that much more. Health bonus down to 6%. Damage bonus at 67%. It was just at 95 or 90 last hit. And yeah, so they'll make it in the safe room. Really not that much health bonus, though. Only a 212 points here on that matter. But they do get the full distance of 500, so it's going to put them up to a score of 1596. And now we'll see what Taktaktak can do on their survivor half. And once again, this tank can be pretty rough. I mean, it's going to be that wide open area tank, so if the survivors can push forward into the open area, they could have a pretty good chance of making it out of here. Because there's not really all that many SI spawns for SI to even work with. But we'll see what happens when we reach that point. We are going live for the second half of the first game here. EOS on your SI, Taktaktak on your survivors, and you guys are watching round 4 of the group stage of the Bleed Out tournament. 3 more rounds after this game. One of these teams will be securing a spot in the final 16 with the win from this game. It's just a matter of what seed they'll be getting.
Indeed. So this first hit again, we saw Team Taktaktak send it all into the safe room here. I don't expect Element Surprise to do the same. Taktaktak taking the initiative to bait right here. Let's see exactly what they can do, and to kind of mention what you did as well, if the survivors got to that open area, that should be almost like a 1 or 2 hitter tank in my opinion, because you can just kite it so well in the open field. Hit coming in from Team Element Surprise now. Smoker trying to initiate with a pull there. Spitter gets picked, and this is some odd SI coordination again coming out from the Special Infected team. We saw Taktaktak do on the last half, but a very staggered hit right there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that was, but once again, maybe EOS now just being given the curse of the SI, not having the best of time finding some good hits or coordination to say the least. But Taktaktak getting held up on these common a little bit. I mean, obviously with the higher pings, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to clear the common here and there. But that was no distance gained from the previous 2 sacks to where they are now.
I don't know, maybe that was the intended plan from the Special Infected, because they have this jockey swamp in the back there, and nobody can shoot Tool. Tools is hiding in that bush, taking absolutely, like, 4 damage from that chip. And this is going to be an interesting bait game once again, because those other 2 spawns didn't go in. That Charger is just camping up right there. Boomer's going to go in from the right-hand side, not going to land. And please kill something. There we go. Okay, so they killed the Boomer. They still have that Charger Spitter in the front. Charger's just looking for a free charge right here, but he's not going to spawn it. Kiss Me, this has been a really weird start to this chapter.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what EOS is really doing here. Maybe after the Boomer getting popped, some of the SI were like, oh, hold it, and then some of them were like, go, go, go. But anyway, here's that charge on the main of Taktaktak. Spit goes down top of that. That's going to be a nice liquidy spit for that survivor, that being Nick. Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at the damage. Them holding actually worked out marvelously. They just played the patience, the waiting game, and Matten will be taking around 40-45 damage from that charge spit. And M4 also taking a bit of damage to his name as well.
Yeah, honestly, like, that did pay off for whatever it was they were doing there, maybe trying to get the right kind of stack, but that charge spit landing did do a good amount of damage, made an underneath half of his permanent HP right now, so Smoker, Charger, Boomer, Jockey, what Taktaktak cannot do is have a bleeder going into this event if they want to hold it out. Like, that would just be really, really not good, so I don't expect to see him commit his pills at all unless he takes that in cap. So as long as they can have somebody not taking in cap, maybe from the Witch or something like that, they should be okay for holding the event out, but Smoker, Charger, Boomer, Jockey from EOS is going to try to prove that null and void if they can get it down on this Witch, or maybe even just a swipe. Witch is getting aggroed right now, so Taktaktak is going to have to take this Witch with a full hit up.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty rough for Witch take from them as well. I don't believe we'll see Matten going for the Rich Con, as he does have an Uzi. Another Uzi onto Rochelle. That's something else that we should actually be noting. So far, Taktaktak has been running a 2-2 setup for the past 2 rounds, 2 Uzis, 2 shotguns, which was, once again, not something we normally see in the NA community, which is, I'm assuming the majority of people I'm talking to. But normally we see, like, 3 shotguns. You know, NA players just love their shotguns, same for EU players. But, you know, Eastern Asians showing some love here for, you know, obviously the Uzi. But there goes the Witch Crown, obviously. Tackling, not landing. That Witch, how did he land that? The witch literally whipped around Coach, was on his back, and Coach just whipped it, and he killed her.
With 200 ping.
Yeah, indeed.
200 ping, he did that. That's fantastic. Also, for people asking in chat, again, the ranges for Team Talk 3, lowest is 138, highest is 205. So it's not as bad. We've seen it. That was a fantastic round. I couldn't have done that on 20 ping. He did on 200 ping. That was a fantastic play right there from Caesar. We do have a hit coming in, I think, from Team Element of Surprise. It was 100 just making noise. Jockey, Spitter, Boomer. So pretty bad 2-2 for this open field area right here. 100 still spawning in the back. If Talk 3 can keep playing like that, they could definitely make a comeback on this chapter. Hit going in. 100's going to go. Managing to land on the Coach right there for some okay amounts of damage. With that stick going down, too. Jockey manages to land on Rochelle and throws her back into the spit. She was caught for even a little bit more. That's pretty good damage for an area like that with that hit.
Yeah, we'll see their health bonus dropping down to 64%. Damage bonus still obviously at 100% as there is no one on temporary HP as of just yet. And yeah, so we'll see the Stars holding out here for a couple of minutes. Caesar sitting in the back here, blocking a couple of those tree spawns. Rochelle staying very close to him, and then Nick and Ellis over on the other side, covering the rocks and the house. So we'll see what ends up happening here. And also where they decide to take this tank, because they could still run the tank all the way back to this area, which would be a definite AI. I don't think there's a way for that tank to actually even regain his LOS and not go AI if you run back here. But attack coming in here, Smoker did land. Charger getting destroyed there by the Uzi Rochelle. Very, very swiftly played by her. And Smoker just getting gunned down in the back as well. So really well taken by Talk 3 these last couple of hits, including that Witch Crown. And we'll see if they can hold their health bonus high going into tank. They still have 4 sets of pills, and actually Matt and pops one, and it takes a set of pills that I'm assuming was on the docks here. So it might have been a little preemptive with that, though, because they could take a big hit here, and someone else might need them.
Honestly, I mean, that's an okay decision right now because of the area that they're in. But on that previous hit, that Hunter got like annihilated just as he was trying to run in, and then they killed the rest of the hit with the Uzis really well, especially reminding me of Envy in that regard. We have a Hunter landing right there with a stick going down. Common could also lock Ellis a little bit. Indeed, they do. Rochelle's gonna get jockeyed again. That's more damage coming out with a double boom. Now I'm not too happy with the decision for how exactly they're playing this. M4 is about to be slow, as you mentioned. I didn't think they were going to take that much damage, but they're taking damage in this area, Kiss Me, from 2-2s that, in my opinion, should not be landing here.
Yeah, and that one thing you gotta try and figure out, is that going to be just the ping taking effect? And actually, they're going to leave that set of pills on the dock. Are they going to take them? All right, yeah, they're actually going to take them. So that's a foreshadow to me that they're going to push forward. Because if they were actually, if they had intentions of coming back here, they probably wouldn't take that set of pills right there. And they're going to play it continually passive. In fact, Charger coming in from the outhouse, going to get mowed down, not killed off just yet, but he is down to 384 HP. Charger in the hands of Hib. Jockey going in for a shell, doesn't find last shot yet. Night double cap happening, triple cap in fact. Charger, long distance charge out onto Caesar. And Nick just getting wrangled up by that Smoker by the tree. And that will be the attack up and over with. But what a hit. That was a bit of a staggered 3 cap, but it still did world to Talk 3's HP.
When you look at this, that Boomer's going to get double boom as well, but just look at their health, Kiss Me. This spread so far, plus the fact that 2 of them are bleeding from those pre-pill pops right there. Obviously, in order for them to stay fast, they would have to commit the other sets of pills that they found, so this is a great amount of damage coming out from Element of Surprise and Special Infected. I am really impressed with what they've done, at least here. Again, yes, they have the huge ping advantage and that kind of stuff, but just in that open area, it's so hard to land anything against anyone with any kind of ping, and they've done a great job of it. Spitter spawns up top right there. Is going to get picked before he goes in, and a little bit more staggered right here. That Hunter does manage to land. Solo Bolo charge is going to be underneath the wing right here, seeing if he can land much of anything when the survivors drop. But so far, they've done a number on Talk 3's health. Indeed,
we'll actually see a little bit of separation here happening on Rochelle. Charge is going to capitalize upon it. Goes for the charge, whiffing it though. Rochelle probably just wiped the sweat off of her face. That was nasty, and if she got capped while that tank was coming up, that could have spelled disaster in the end for Talk 3. But she managed to sidestep it, and they will. Yeah, they're going to back up. This is almost certainly going to send this tank AI if they actually run all the way back.
I don't think so. Hib does have the tank right now. I think he's going to be probably high second pass, maybe, by the time that he reaches them. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually thinking of the one that's a little bit further up that spawns on the opposite side of the swamp. Yeah, that one's definitely AI if you run it back. This one was actually closer. It was like in the middle of the field up ahead.
It's still at first, actually. He says first right now. So
yeah, my bad. I didn't actually see where the first tank spawned, so bad call on my part.
This changes the dynamic, though, because we have 3 survivors in partial bleed. 2 of them are going to be slow. when they bleed down to their permanent HP, and Hib has sight for days in this area until the survivors start LOSing him, and indeed they are going to right now. But he can get close and probably still keep that. One survivor is slow. Rock going in, not going to land. Jockey Smoker. Hib isn't keeping sight at the moment, though. Now I think he's got a little bit, trying to reestablish in that area. Skeet's going out, but he's going to need a hit sometime soon, because if he wants any chance on keeping this long, he is definitely going to have to land some kind of rock, god frame, whatever. But they sent one SI in there, right? Not going to land, but that rock is going to land. He actually might have to commit this, depending on how this goes, or he can rotate to try to keep sight. I have a feeling the Talk is going to push him a lot, though, when this happens. Rock going in, managing to land it on first pass.
He had 5% rage left. Beautiful rock there. And that's going to cause a lot of pressure out onto Hib here. Two of the Uzis just railing into him, pushing him way back, chipping him down 1,000 HP so far. So Hib is getting pressured here quite heavily. Survivor's putting themselves in a bit of a bad position, though, with all these spawns around them. So they're playing the high-risk, high-reward game right now. But Hib not going to fall to it. He's going to keep backing up. He does eat that damage, but he keeps the tank above 5,000 HP still. So
what a great job by him to keep that sight, too. Look at that. He's still on 95% first now after that last rock.
Indeed, and he's going to start working his way back in here, dropping. Actually, no, he hasn't dropped any rage. Now it starts ticking down. The stars, don't get me wrong, they were doing a good job of LOSing, but those last, like, yeah, I mean, this is rough. They have no pills left. Like that,
they're gonna die. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, he's gonna bleed them out, and he's gonna commit when they're slow.
Yeah, there's really nothing that they can really do here, and obviously the water slowdown doesn't affect the survivors that much, but just them being slow is going to be pretty much a nail in the coffin here. Hib still going for some rocks. Attack coming in. Jockey, Hunter, Charger.
Rock.
Yeah, rock lands. Hunter lands as well out onto Coach here. Charger coming in from behind for a couple punches here. Couldn't whiff the first punch, second punch, gets killed off, but that once again is the rock out onto Hib.
Yeah.
Or rock from Hib landing. And he's going to start actually moving his way forward here on the map as the survivors are pushing him. I mean, unless they can play really close up in his face, this is a wipe. Another rock coming out here. Yeah, they have to be aggressive here. They can't play passive. This bleed...
Going back?
Yeah, this is not going to work for them at all.
They're dead. That's what I'm saying. Like, the reason I'm just, like, having these random E-Bombs World era just, like, explosions from my mic right now about this is because Talk 3 is dead. Like, I cannot believe that this is happening. They let Hib bleed them almost completely out right here. Jockey's going to go, imagining to land onto Nick. But if you look at their health, Hib can just keep staring at them until literally all four survivors are slow, and then roll in and just punch them a couple times and get the wipe. And I think that's exactly what he's going to look to do. He's going to keep playing the rock tank right here, almost laying another rock, but in that area, they had to play that much more aggressively, and now they're going to be down, if this is a wipe, over 1,000 points going into the third map. That's somewhat what you would like to see from Element of Surprise going into that next chapter. Like, that's really, really good for them. Hib is on second pass right now, but again, he's gonna wait to beat them out a little bit more kissing, and then he should just commit it, and this should be a wipe.
Yeah, I don't really see the way of them being this tank. We're smoking its puller on Ellis, gonna send him his Charger landing. Yeah, Hunter landing as well on the backside out onto Coach. That's gonna be once again a tri-cap, possibly 2 in-caps going out. M4 actually down to 2 HP here. There's the scratch, and there's the rock. There's 3 in-caps. I lied. Caesar, the last one up. Going for the pickup here onto Ellis, but that's not going to matter. Tech pushing away, gets 10 cap on Coach. Turns his attention to Ellis. 1 punch, 2 punch, and that will be the wipe. Hib playing the long game.
Oh my god, that was insane. I cannot believe that Talk 3 stood there and just took that. Like, that's all it was. Like, they didn't even try to push him that much. They tried to LOS, but they had 3 or 4 people bleeding. They were okay at the start, but then Hib landed at least 2 or 3 rocks there. That one rock to keep first pass, and he was on 5% that initiated that, started that off. I cannot believe that wipe so far. And now, I agree, yeah, it is the away server, but that's a positional decision right there. Like, not to push when they had 3 or 4 people bleeding like that. Like, they literally stood there, and then they went back again, and they died. Like, that's what happened. With no slowdown in that area, there was no way they were surviving that. Incredible play from EOS.
See, and I'm perfectly fine with what they initially did from Talk 3, going back to the area and playing the LOS game. But the thing is, after that first rock landed and he was down to 5% rage, so much time had already passed at that point, and the pills had already been committed, that they bled out so much that if they ate a rock at that point, it was pretty much over. And when they ate that rock, it completely switched the feeling of that tank onto the SI side. I mean, survivors initially were doing a great job at L-Swing, knocked him down very quickly to 5% rage, and they were pretty much about to force the commit out of him more than likely. But when that rock landed, it immediately turned the tides, because they didn't have enough HP to go through the bleed out yet again, go through the SI hits. But initially, I agree with the call. They were playing it back. They forced him down very well. But once again, that one rock really switched things up there for Hib's tank and just EOS in general. So very well played by them, and we'll see them coming to the third map here of the 4-map campaign with around what is that, like 1,129 point lead.
Yeah, just about. So, I mean, hey, if Element Surprise can keep this kind of score delta here, it's definitely winnable for them in terms of the series when they go and play on the Asian server directly after this. We are going live right here. Boomer Smoker Hunter Charger for the first hit coming out from Team Taktaktak. Hunter getting nicely speeded. We do have a pull charge going out onto him into the corner over there. That's going to be a single pound onto him as well. So that was a little bit messily taken from Team Element Surprise because that Charger managing to land and get that pound. Everything else was clear, but now they are going to take some residual common damage. And again, that's a little bit more than you'd like to see off that first hit.
Yeah, I mean, that hit's very workable with the angles and whatnot. You can easily shut down that hit, especially if the SI are mostly coming from that rooftop, that being the Charger and the Boom. But we'll see, once again, them taking a little bit more damage than they would have definitely liked to have. Hackster Mode, a.k.a. Hib, is going to pop a set of pills here and continue his way on, grabbing another set that was just on the ground. They don't have any intention of coming back here, obviously. Tank will be up at 69% of the way through the map. No comment. Which at 86% of the way through the map.
Say anything.
the moment of silence for it. But Hunter working his way in along with the Charger. Hunter getting destroyed there by Hib. Smoker got pulled onto Nick. Charger railed down by Rochelle and Ellis. And that was just beautiful coordination there by the survivors, picking their targets, working together, and that was an SI attack just completely picked apart.
Yeah, and the one huge difference we've said a bunch of times over the history of the, like, I don't know, past 2 years of seeing tournaments and stuff like that, but what separates the good teams from the regular teams, I guess, is the ability to melt those Chargers. Yes, the regular idea is to shoot everything, but the Chargers from Taktaktak have been getting annihilated so far, at least for the most part, besides when they land on people who are pulled, who may not be named Hib, you know, at the start of the round. But Taktaktak's tank is up in the hands of Kuma, so let's see if he's able to get close to them enough to keep, like, half of his first pass or something like that, because they're going to go back right now. He's still on grace period. Hit coming in right now. Charger not going to be a land. Boomer getting nicely popped as well. Charger gets a single punch. Hunter going in, trying to land, does get skeeted, and he's going to have no issue keeping very, very high frustration on first pass from where he was in. Again, I think this is an interesting call from the survivors now, because with that no water slowdown, they can play this much differently than they would on Pro Mod, and the tank is moving back, actually.
Yeah, Kuma could definitely be going for the car here. I wouldn't put that past him. Actually, no, he's not going to go for the car. No, he is. He's going to climb up on the back fence. He's going to probably make his way back, yeah.
Huh!
No, he's playing forward because they're pushing forward.
This is going to be really interesting. He's going for that car. If they LOS him right now, he's definite second pass, but they're not LOSing him right now. That's the problem. They're going for this chip instead. He was going for that car, so he's blue about 65% rage for I'm not exactly sure why. And he's going to have to transition up to the house now. But again, the survivors can play very, very aggressively because of that lack of water slowdown. Charger, Boomer, Smoker for the next hit from Team Taktaktak. Smoker going in, not getting much of anything. Rock is going to get skeeted. Smoker gets picked. And this is a favorable position right now for Team EOS, gets me, because that tank, I think they probably realize that he's relatively low on his first pass.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much that Team Talk can actually do here. EOS, once again, this is how you really make a tank play to what you're doing as survivors. You don't play to what the tank wants. If that tank continued going back, they would have moved forward in the map and pretty much just guaranteed themselves an AI tank and then push backwards into him. Yeah, there's not really much that they can do. Now they've taken a dominant position right now, and the tank can't get back to his car. They know he's definitely low on rage, not going to have time to even go back for the car. So this wide open area isn't a bad area anymore. And actually, they're going to try and back up towards the bridge more, but the tank's not going to come in here trying to cut him off. He does just that, cuts him into a 3-1 separation. Smoker spawning up looking for a pull somewhere here. So actually, he hits a corner here on Nick.
Yeah, they really screwed up there because that jockey is going to manage to land, and the tank was able to get a couple punches. That separation, as you mentioned, great commit from Kuma. He's going to be able to decommit now. That's a lot of damage to that open area. They done goofed.
Yeah, that looked very good for them, but nice initial commit there by Kuma, and he's able to just rail into them along with the SI. Beautiful jock charge as well, just working together to get that damage out onto, I believe it was Hib, and yeah, just really unfortunate there for EOS. But now they actually their damage isn't even being touched yet. Both Hib and Tool both sitting with a little sliver of HP left solid.
Even though their health is still that good, they have to be a little bit pissed about what's happened because, again, that should have been like almost no damage off that tank. Jockey going in, Rock almost landing as well, single boom going out, Smoker gets a repull, is going to get quickly cleared. Like, in that area, with that tank coming in like that, like if they had stayed in the right position, like Tool let the tank have a couple punches from back into that house, but that split too, I think onto Hib it was, like, they should have 4 people with high green health right now. And the issue is, if a similar situation happens and there isn't as good a commit from the special infected on the next game, like that could really impact the score because they lost a good amount of bonus right there in terms of health. They are going to push the tank right now. Hits coming in from the back, Charger going in, not going to land. Tank getting another punch, as a matter of fact, onto Ellis, and there is a pounce. Another rock going out. This is damage that they really should not be taking in this area. That jockey's going to land as well, and kiss me, I am not happy if I'm Element surprised at all from that tank fight.
I will be very surprised if we see Taktaktak take that much damage with that tank. Yeah. assuming they don't let the tank do that LOS game again, they should be in a very well standing going into that next tank, because that was a lot of unnecessary damage. That second commit with the punch, rock punch, none of that should have happened. I mean, albeit the tank had a little bit of a long arm going on, they took way more damage than was warranted by any means, and that's going to drop their damage bonus down to a 72. What was just untouched, now down a quarter. And health bonus is well down. Hunter latching on to one side of the back. Knight's up boom landing. Spit, or actually, Boomer actually stumbling Coach out of the spit. So saving Hax or Mode, aka Hib, from being very close to an in-cap. And yeah, once again, I mean, the tank could have went worse than it did, in fact. If the tank managed to angle his punches a little bit better, he could have gotten an easy cap out onto Nick back when that charge was going ham with the jockey behind that tree. So they could have gotten much more out of that tank. But EOS, very wise. Nick angling himself to get punched away from that corner, that being Tool. And yeah, we'll see EOS move away after the event here. This is going to be a rough event, though.
Hib is slow. That's the real issue. Like, they're going to have the hit coming in right now. Jockey trying to land. Smoker does get picked. Charter coming from the front. Jockey manages to land now onto Lucky Lock. But I think the real issue for them right now is that Hib is going to be bleeding and slow for this entire, like, rotunda right here. Like, they're going to really have to push through this without a whole lot of incident, because if Hib goes down, that could be catastrophic.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to make their way out to the open here, depending on how fast Hib moves off to the right side and actually drops right off the plank. Going to try and angle his way into there as quick as he can, and they might be able to get into a fairly decent position here before his next attack comes up, and it's going to be a Hunter, Boomer, Jockey, and a Spitter. So a 2-2, not a strong one at that. Hunter and Jockey got to make their way in to make anything happen. And one scratch out on the Coach. They're looking for a cap here. They do actually manage to land the pounce. Spit goes in a little bit too late, though, and Hib, actually, no, he still gets in capped. I thought the Spit came down too late there. But yeah, they're going to be able to secure that in cap, slow them down, put Hib on his first in cap in general for EOS of this round. And they're going to keep moving the way up.
Still have a 63% damage bonus, which is a little bit of a saving grace right there. But again, because Hib was slow there, they do take that in cap that they really probably didn't want to take either. There is also a witch somewhere, but I don't think the survivors have to engage with her at all, if I'm not mistaken. No, they can just keep going, so that's going to be a non-issue for them. Last hit, supposedly, for Team Talk 3 is going to be a Jockey, Charger, Smoker, and a Spitter. Smoker getting the pull out there on to Azula is going to get cleared. Nice double cap landing, though. That Charger and Jockey both get very, very fast cleared. If that had been a completed charge on Tool, that would have really, really sucked for Team Element and Surprise. But Hib is actually about to go down again. That would really affect the damage bonus. Spit's going to go down there. Overshoots the plank, though. There is still one survivor down. As long as Hib doesn't take the in cap right here, they should be okay getting in with most of their damage bonus. We can see a pull going out on a Tool is going to get cleared. Another spawn is coming up real quickly right here, but again, not a very clean survivor round going out. So again, this gives another opportunity. It's been the story of the game so far. If Team Talk 3 takes that tank like much more cleanly, then they could make the safe room with a better bonus theoretically.
Yeah, I mean that was really a bad showing there for EOS compared to the past two rounds. They played it completely. Well, I'm not gonna say completely, but they played relatively sloppy during that tank. They ate the SI attacks. They got separated, and I mean, once again though, beautiful tank play. He saw that he could get the separation on them. He got it. He got the corner on Nick, and they really played it well. And then he got close for the second commit, and he got it once again a lot more than he should have. Like that, the first punch, he should have been dead. Like the two Uzi should have been railing into him. But it is what it is, and EOS still managing to make the safe room. So that's just really, I don't even know, a testament to how strong they are on the survivor side, because that was probably disheartening to take that much damage, but they were still able to power through it and make it to the safe room with a fairly decent health bonus of 276. But now we're going to switch rounds, or switch halves at least. Talk 3 or Taktaktak over on the survivors, EOS on the SI. And once again, guys, you were watching the Bleed Out Tournament round number 4 on Swamp Fever. Teams EOS from NA going up against Team Taktaktak of Korea. And this should be pretty interesting. I really can't wait for the away game. I think, or away game for EOS. I think it's going to be very nail-biting. I think Taktaktak is going to be a completely different animal.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing that we can mention here, like going into that game, is score deltas are score deltas are score deltas. If Team EOS is able to like kill Talk 3 again, either with that tank somehow or get a lot of damage onto them, because again, the tank last chapter shouldn't have wiped either, but they did so much damage to Talk 3 before they even got to the tank that they were able to secure that wipe. If they can keep like a 1,500 point differential here or something like that. Like if they put them at the event or anything, that'll still be the same if it were like a 4,500 to 3,000 point game. Like as long as they keep that differential the same, they can go in and then we could see an even higher scoring match on the other server. It just gives them the advantage that they need. So even though they've only scored 2,372 points right here, like I said, I would have liked to see them score around 4K to be safe, but with the errors that they made on Survivor, they've still done a pretty good job mitigating the damage on Special and Infected with what they've done to Talk 3 Survivor with that ping advantage. So we'll see if they can continue that in this chapter. Charger spawning up on top of the roof right there, getting chipped a little bit already, and I do like the bait call here from Talk 3.
Yeah, playing it very passively. I mean, this once again is one of those playstyles that we're really normal or really used to seeing from Eastern Asian teams. They're very passive with the gameplay. They're not afraid to just play the bait game. And once again, people say, "Oh, what are you baiting? What is this, a freaking match?" Well, it is a match. But Charger goes out, lands on Alice. There's no one actually there to actually really help out with that. Hunter latching on to El Cocho, so it's gonna be a little bit more damage going out to that. Boomer actually walks his way in. Yeah, Boomer waddles his way in from nowhere and lands on Kuma. But still, that's a nice amount of damage going on to Caesar. I believe the Charger got 1 pound plus the scratch.
I believe so, yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty good amount of damage, as you mentioned. Again, for that first hit, just a little bit of odd damage, almost the same for both teams. But as long as Talk 3 can, again, take that tank in a little bit more of a, like, I would say more precise fashion, because we saw a lot of splits going out on the EOS. We do have a hit coming right now. Nice tri-boom landing. Unfortunately, the Charger did already go. Ellis runs through Spit, though, and takes a pretty good amount of damage. That's unfortunate right there. Just, again, a little bit more scratches going in, but just stupid damage going out into Talk 3.
Yeah, so very unfortunate for them. Caesar's going to be dropped way down to the 61 HP range after 2 hits, and 4 as well, dropped down to 87, or 87 permanent, I should say. And they didn't take that set of pill in the back either, which means they're probably going to look to play back here with the tank as well, except they might actually go back for the pill, seeing as if they need it or not. But they're going to be looking for this next head to come in here very shortly. Jockey, Hunter, Smoker, Boomer. So a 3-1 with quite a chance for separation here, except for that Hunter. But Jockey spawns up. That should trigger the attack. Hunter, Jockey working away along with the Smoker. Smoker look for Paul. The coach does find it. Jockey getting destroyed. Hunter lands on Kuma. Jockey actually fell off the dock, but he gets back up. Nice double Boomer landing. Kuma taking a lot of damage here from that Hunter. Does eventually get cleared. And that Boomer going to proxy onto the other 2 survivors. And that is just a massacre there from EOS. Dropping 2 survivors way down. M4 and Kuma probably taking combined around 50 damage from that hit. That Hunter was on for way too long.
I don't know, maybe it's me overestimating Talk 3 a little bit in terms of their ping and how well they can play on it, but they've taken an inordinate amount of damage right here, obviously, for the map. Again, on the ping they're playing with, maybe it's understandable, but for some reason I expected them to take things even cleaner because of just, like, basic positioning. But that Hunter was on Rochelle forever right there after that boom. Just, again, more damage going out. Jockey's going to go in, does manage to get taken out before it lands. We do have a charge coming in off that pull, almost landing onto a Coke. Spit's going to go in at the very last second right there. Another repull going out. See, taking hits like that is what I expected, where, okay, things land, but everything gets cleared, and there's not really a whole lot of incident. But the past couple hits, there have been a couple times where Talk 3 has just taken a bunch of damage, and the tank is up for Element Surprise into the hands of Shady.
Indeed, and we do have to start getting worms set up. I was holding off on them until some later rounds in the group stage, but I think it's about time we start doing some war rooms in these coming matches, probably next week. So we will be having those for you guys as we can start listening to how the teams kind of coordinate and decide to play these their attacks, the witches, the tanks, all that good stuff. But yeah, Shady with the tank. We have a little bit of a midget tank going on here as well, as it's the camera is positioned lower to the ground.
It's alright, we know it's a tank, we know. And, you know, he still has first pass now, and this is what I would have liked to see, kind of from Talk 3 on their special infected as well. Because they can sit here and keep sight for a very, very long time, and this is optimal for the rock tank position right here. He didn't blow any rage trying to go get his car, he has the right position, and they should be able to send in a few hits at least before he even starts going close to that second percentage mark. So, Hunter, Smoker, Charger for the next hit from Element of Surprise. Charger works his way across the top right there. Hunter does manage to land, again for an okay amount of damage. Charger gets a double scratch as well. That's going to put one survivor almost slow. Rock going in, not going to land, but if hits keep landing like that, that would be optimal. He might have to jump off and try to keep some sight from a different angle right now because that hitbox did not land.
Indeed, it did not. And yeah, he's gonna have to start changing things up here because he's dropping down to 50% rage here first pass. He is still taking a little bit chipper, down to 5% rage now on second pass. So this is gonna change the game up here a little bit for this tank. Survivors know that the attack is up as well, so they're gonna go ahead and reposition, try to block that Boomer from getting the spawn on top of the dock. And yeah, I mean, their help as it stands right now is at 716. As you mentioned earlier in the round, actually, there's a rock on the Kuma. That's going to give him another full rage bar. So he's not on second pass, still at 100%. Kuma down in the red. Not going to pop a set of pills, though. I'm sure they know that the set of pills are probably all around them, so they're going to grab them whenever they can. But yeah, they're going to go ahead and play it a little bit passive here with this tank now. Let Shady bleed out, or not even bleed out, but lose some LOS here. And there's some chat going on. I'm not too sure what that says, though.
He's on an interesting position right now because he's on this roof. He has 55% rage, 4,500 health. If he commits here, he's going to get absolutely shredded. I think optimally they would want to play Rock, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. He's on the generator right now. Again, trying to keep that rage. Hit coming in from Element Surprise. Charger is not going to land. Neither is that Hunter. Everything getting shut down besides that Hunter landing at the end. And now Talk 3 OS is right here. They should be able to get this tank to pass the AI or force him to keep some really dangerous sight with a lot of chip.
He's already taken a lot of chip. He's down over 2,000 HP so far. This tank is really, its doors are closing. There is one survivor really separated, though, from the other three. I think that was Nick over on the right. So we'll see if the SI actually noticed that and tried to make something happen here. And actually, it was Rochelle, the lowest HP, and she was just behind her. Oh, Alice was over there too. Okay, yeah, I was confused for a second.
Rochelle was ghosted. That's what it was.
Yeah, I was confused there. But the tank's gonna go like a mid now.
He is. Imagine get a separation pull out over there, and it's actually working so far. He's going to be able to stand there as that goes down, landing that rock almost onto Rochelle. He's going to be able to take that damage onto Caesar, and he actually should be able to decommit. So he's still going to have 2,000 HP left, turning around, throwing a rock, trying to land it right there, not going to land. He still has about 1,800 HP, but that was important because that one punch did refill his rage meter. Trying to throw a rock in there, not going to land onto Nick. Interesting play there, Kissme, because he made the right call to decommit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was actually really well played and very smartly played as well. So we see Talk 3 taking a lot of damage. They were at a 716, now down to a 527. And that, once again, as we mentioned earlier, I didn't actually go off of this, but the survivors really don't. Well, the survivors being Talk 3, they haven't really made a safe room yet, obviously. So as well as their SI have been relatively on or against EOS. Yeah, actually, tank's at 5% rage. I can't even get my thought out because of the tank. Charger goes in, not going to find anything. Rock landing, thanks to the pole. That's going to be a rage refill. And Shady going to continue with the bleed out here on the survivors. And yeah, they just haven't been able to really make the safe room yet. And they need a round where they make the safe room so that they can close that distance gap. Because right now, as it stands, 1,600 points is still a big difference here on Swamp Fever. But Boomer goes in, lands a single boom out on a coach, drawing us into Horde. And Shady's losing that rage again fairly quickly.
I think Nick's about to try to move to the left and give him a little bit of that sight. But again, from this distance, they're not doing as much damage as they think they are. Like, they probably think this tank's even lower than the 1,300 health that he's at. There's going to be another hit coming in from Element of Surprise. Tank going close for the rock. Gonna manage to almost land on Rochelle. I thought she was going to catch that. Hunter's going to manage to land onto Nick right there. He's on the 30% 30% rate second pass, rather, trying to land another rock. And he's going to probably, at this point, like, I said he was probably going to be forced AI before, and then he landed that last second rock. But he's actually going to drop into the water here, forcing the survivors out. And that's a good decision for him then to keep that rage by forcing them to push him. He's going to go closer to the rock now. Jockey landing, rock going in, not going to land it. He could be dead and or AI at this point, specifically because they push him behind his house, but he's doing a great job of just bleeding them out even more. He's going to climb back up here 25%, and this is a great tank from Azula coming out right here, just that long tank fashion. Boomer gets a double boom, almost landing that rock. And he is going to be able to still keep sight. Kissme, these tanks from Element of Surprise have been so good. Charger's going to go in there, trying to land on a coach. Not going to land it. Rock is also going to miss, but he's still just playing that bleed out game.
Yeah, I mean, once again, though, the bleed out's not really affecting them. If you look over at the actual bonus here of Team Talk 3, their damage bonus is still at 97%. Even though they've been bleeding out quite a bit, they haven't actually done any actual damage. Yeah, Nick, I don't know what Nick's doing. He gets capped here. That's actually on solid health bonus, so the rest of the solid health bonus is about to get knocked out here. The Hunter making his way back out here, not going to commit just yet. He's going to wait for the other side. He gets actually a pounce out onto Coach, I believe, in the background there. And what was that? Matten just way in the back. The Hunter does get caught off for Coach. Another rock going in. Tank down to 200 HP. 10% rage. He's going to get killed off here. This should be the end of the tank. Yeah, there we go. The wall bang to finish it off. But that major separation, once again, damage that should not have happened, just like we saw in EOS's Survivor half. That last bit of damage literally just knocked them down to in range of what EOS's health bonus was when they made safe room, and they were just sitting at like a 480, 490 or something.
That's insane. Like, at this point now, the other problem, I'll say it again, is that one of the survivors is slow, and the bleed obviously didn't affect their bonus, but the big part that people underestimate about the rest of this map, the second half specifically, is its length. Like, this is an endurance map, and when you're slow on an endurance map, you're not going to do as well, even if the survivors were all bleeding and fast. They're going to have to take more hits now. They're going to keep bleeding in that regard, and it's just more damage that they have to take. Not even more guaranteed damage, it's more potential damage. And against a good special infected team, they can definitely capitalize on that. Great tank from Shady. Again, that separation at the end, kind of a head scratcher.
Yeah, I'm not too sure really what to make of it. They do find a couple sets of pills to tie them over for the time being. Charger making his way in, not going to completely whiff though onto Nick. And we got to watch M4 here. He is the next closest to S, or sorry, to take an end cap. Hunter getting blasted out of there though. And still, if they actually make this safe room though, which we just saw EOS do on the last half, so it's not impossible to make it with this health bonus. But if they can actually make this, that would be really good for them because it would knock them up over 1,000 points and you know, put that gap down to 1,300. Where as it stands right now, it's over 1,600. So they definitely want to try and claw back those last few hundred points.
Yeah, anything right now is definitely going to help them, especially considering the fact it's the away server for them. Charger going in for the solo charge, managing to land on M4, but does get cleared. Nice double cap, though, going out onto the survivors. A little bit more health bonus going down off of Rochelle on that hit. And now we've got 2 survivors slow. Actually, it's going to be 3 survivors slow in a second after Maiden bleeds out. And Caesar is bleeding out as well. So this is going to be a very, very, like, difficult position for Team Taktaktak as they stand here and wait. But they might be able to make it through only after taking 1 more hit, but let's see.
Indeed, so we'll see if Boomer go in, lands a single boom out on the coach. You're going to draw all the event horde out onto him. And actually, Taktaktak going to hold it up here. There is a spitter up in the hands of Tool, so this could be a very bad position for them if they actually decide to stay here. And there's going to be a Hunter Charger and that spit. Spit goes down the side of the room. Nick getting pushed out towards his back. Rochelle taking an in cap from that spit. And that Charger going to grab 1 punch, 2 punch, in cap out onto Nick. Looks for a Charger onto Coach. Does find it, brings it back!
Oh my goodness, this could be the wipe. Horrible decision in my opinion from Taktaktak to stay in that room. If they had a spirit, that would have been a wipe, and there is the wipe. Kiss me. I don't know how, but...
No, it's not the wipe. They got the clue with the deagle.
Yeah, but he's literally there. He has like 3 HP left. Boomer's going to go in. That's going to be the wipe. But
there we go.
I don't know how they keep doing it, but Taktaktak just... Again, eating it to the face right there with those hits in that tank, and it's going to be around a 1,500, almost 1,600 point advantage for Team Element of Surprise going into the 4th map. Screw having to get 4,000 points. If you can hold the enemy team to under 1,000 going into the finale, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, that's another way of doing it, and clearly within EOS's realm of making that happen. But once again, when we go to that away game, I think that things are going to be changed up and put on their heads a little bit. Yeah, so I wouldn't be comfortable with any lead if I was EOS. I mean, 1,600 points is still quite a differential. It's a nice, hefty lead here on this 4-map campaign. But yeah, let's see what they can make happen on the finale. Hopefully, we can see a repeat of the past 3 maps, and EOS can end them before we can make a safe room. Because really, that's been the name of the game so far. Can Taktaktak even make a safe room against these guys?
Right. I mean, making this finale is extremely difficult, even on Ace Mod, in my opinion, because yeah, the tanks are one thing, but then you have to sit there and take a whole bunch of hits, and the second tank is much more dangerous, in my opinion, than the first. This is going to be an okay tank, I guess, considering the fact that it spawns at 78%, but again, typically you don't see the tanks doing a whole lot of damage, but in this game we've seen wipes and just large amounts of, like, I don't know if we would call them large amounts of survivor errors or just good infected play, but tanks that typically, statistically, don't do a whole lot of damage has done very, very well in this game. So honestly, I want to say we're not going to see a whole lot of damage from these tanks, but we honestly don't know at this point.
Yeah, these tanks can be pretty hit or miss. Once again, it depends. Once again, a lot of the tanks in this game really depend on your SI because the stars take them in such wide open areas to mitigate those SI spawns, which is just how it is. But yeah, it's going to come down to really just how well these SI can actually support these tanks. This tank is relatively late though at 78%, so it's going to be in the field up ahead. So you know, yet again, a very wide open area. SI going to play a big part in that tank, helping him get a corner, help him get an in cap, some rocks, punches, and we'll see what happens here. We're waiting on one last player to ready up here, and that will be Kuma of Taktaktak. So as soon as that is good to go, we'll be going live here with the first half of the finale here on game 1 of 2, and we'll be switching right over to the second game, I believe, right after this game has concluded. Oh, I stretched.
Indeed, we are, and we're just trying to figure out just a couple of the... I think to transition over to the next game, just wondering who the casters are and that kind of stuff, because I assume we're going to have an admin on one of the servers in Asia. If we don't, that would be unfortunate, but trying to make sure everything is set up correctly for when we go over to that next game, because as you did mention, we should be jumping directly on over to see how this plays out. It's been a fantastic first game. Like, it's been really exciting. Even though the score delta is what it is, it's just been great play from both teams to a good extent. Obviously, I think the survivor play from Team Talk 3, obviously depending on the ping and that kind of stuff, has been underwhelming from what you usually want to see on these maps, but again, we'll see how Element of Surprise can play with their higher ping when we switch over. We are going live right here. Element of Surprise with a chance to build their lead going into that second game on the survivor first, and we do have a pause coming out from Ahib.
Indeed, it seems like there's someone in here who isn't supposed to be, and he's not saying anything
That's
either.
what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, so he can probably be given the kick. I wonder if I can actually kick him. I don't have access.
I think Ahib can probably do it.
Oh, they call the vote kick. That works.
Yeah. Oh, that works. All right. Well, that's that. So, all right then. So let's see what Team Element Surprise can do on their survivor. We do have Team Talk 3 on special. In fact, it's gonna be a smoker, a jockey, a boomer, and Hib saying he has a weird feeling. It's a charger. He has a weird feeling. That's what he's been talking to me about too. Just one of those things where it's just like, it's one of those things that's unfortunate where you just want to make sure that nobody else is ghosting and there's just weird stuff going on. Do have a pull going out right there. Charger's gonna manage to not land. We do have a nice quad boom going out, but the SI are dead before they can do much capitalization on that. Still a good amount of chip damage going out on the survivors, given that all of them are boomed.
Yeah, that was pretty damn well. And look at this common damage. Shell just getting common locked here. And obviously with the lack of M2s and, you know, running the shotgun, you can't really get that much common clear out onto yourself. And you really depend on your teammates. So 22 damage coming out from that boom alone. And then 2 other damage coming from N4. If those SI had just waited for that boom to go in, I don't know if the boom would have still landed a quad boom, but the damage would have been exponential. There was so much common that spawned up from that. But we'll see another hit coming in here. Low jockey, charger, spitter, hunter. So 3-1 could be massive damage here. I'm going beyond the fence there for some reason, but the attack is absolutely shredded. Spitter as well, just thrown out there, getting nothing. And around what, 6 damage, 7 damage, something like that came out from that hit. Big cappers and that spit, but nothing happened.
All the survivors on Team Element Surprise, for the most part, obviously besides those tank fights and a couple of the odd hits, on the hits that they've been shutting stuff down, they've played very well across the board. It's not like one person's been annihilating everything. Everyone's pretty much played their role really well, and that's another thing that's indicative of a very good team, is where you have that even spread going out across all the survivors, and just the ability for them to, like, take down the hits as a team instead of one person frag whoring everything. We do have a nice ski and a nice smoker shutdown, and look at what I just said, Kiss Me.
Yeah, another big hit. And another big shutdown. EOS just playing it very well this side. They are coming up on the witch now. Coach going for that crown. Does not. Oh, he actually botched it. Ellis Lucky Lock right there to help support Hib. Hib was about to botch that one up.
I think Hib got the second shot. I think that's what that was. Because the first shot didn't kill the witch, but then Lucky Lock was there with an extra pellet just in case. And we do have the tank for Team Talk 3 into the hands of M4. This could be a big tank, Kiss Me.
Indeed, this is pretty much our make or break here for Team Talk, in my opinion. If they can make something really out of the ordinary happen here with this tank, like a wipe, because once again, I can't remember the last time I actually saw a wipe happen here with this tank. This is it's just not one of those tanks where you get a wipe unless they all line up for the log head or something. Oh, Rock goes in, lands it under a shell.
Oh my
what?
God. Yo, that was partially Azul's fault, but it was also Hib's fault because he got pulled forward and then charged, and they had to try to clear that. Rock going in, not going to land. Looks like they're going to play this extremely aggressively on the M4, who isn't side right now. He should be able to keep sight from that window. I don't agree with the survivor's position there, but yeah, even that one rock landing was pretty spectacular in an area like that.
What a Hail Mary rock. That could have been the longest rock I've ever seen land. He literally threw that from on top of the mansion, underhand, basically straight level out, and that was...
No. That one game where it was NRG and Team Latin Noobs from Watch Left 4 Dead with that one miracle rock in the 4th chapter where I freaked the hell out at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the longest rock that I've ever seen. Nice shutdown there from EOS. Do you remember that?
I think I have to go watch it again.
You should.
Was that on DK?
Yeah.
Was it on map 2?
Map 4. It was a meteor rock. Like an absolute meteor. I think that might have been the longest. But you know, this tank's on to 40% first pass. And the survivors have chosen to stay here in this area because it is pretty optimal to fight them, but I feel as though the SI are going to probably try to keep sending hits right now because, again, the most damage they can get here is going to help them. I don't know if playing for the wipe is what they want. Another smoker pull going out, Boomer does get popped, Hunter is going to go in and does get skeeted. Another pull trying to go out onto Hib. And if I'm the survivors right here, I don't know if playing for Chip is exactly what they would want to do because they're just taking a little bit more damage, but I guess it might work if they manage to push M4 back, but he should be able to keep sight from the roof.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real bad strat here for the survivors unless they actually do that chip game, because each of those Uzi bullets, like, they're not even landing consistently, but each of those bullets was doing, like, 2 damage to the tank. So it's like every third bullet you get
Ammo.
2 damage. It's just not gonna, yeah, and then you run into that whole ammo problem. Survivors actually have to back up now. They have to go to their position. They might push back here. Jockey goes out on the coast here, not gonna land, though, gets melee down. Boomer landing as well, or not landing as well onto Rochelle, and now it's 2 SI down. Survivors looking like they want to actually go all the way back. They're pulling out here. That hittable log is way out of position now. M4 as well is way out of position, down to 65% range. That's AI. There's no way. He has 50%. He's down. That's AI.
I don't like this call, and there's a reason why I don't like this call. This actually might benefit the special infected more than you think.
Unless he glitches out and dies.
I don't think he's gonna glitch out. I don't have a feeling he's going to, but AI tank here should be able to move his way mostly in. And in a situation like this where it's even hard to land stuff in that open field with a tri-cap and a tank, now they have a quad and a tank, not a quad cap, but they have 4 SI plus this AI tank. He's gonna do some stupid things, but he's also gonna work his way towards the survivors and split them with almost full HP. So let's see what happens here. Charter Smoker, Jockey, and a Boomer coming up into the spawn queue right now. So there's your 4 spawns. Tank going in. If the SI get a nice split here, it could be really good. AI tank making his way in. Here comes the hit. Smoker's gonna try to get the pull out right there. Charter is gonna miss the intercept. This is good so far for Team Element Surprise. Brock hits the Jockey, and this is how you would want to take an AI tank, who is now climbing the hedge for whatever reason, going back in, getting meleeed by Hib right there, trying to throw over the hedge, and that is going to be the shutdown. That could have been much worse for Team Element of Surprise, and obviously for Team Talk 3, you're pissed off now that the tank wasn't able to get a whole lot of work done, even after going AI with 6k HP and 4 spawns.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for them. I mean, they should have also been aware of how the survivors are moving. You just have to be, obviously open-minded about what the survivors are doing and look at their movement. If they start, like, slowly but surely backing up little by little, more than likely they're going to start retreating in a second. So you want to start forcing the commit. You want to start moving in and trying to, cut them off, stop them, stall them. Don't let them go to where they want to go. And in that instance, it was ammo. But attack coming in here, everything getting obliterated. Spit goes down top of nothing because there is nothing. And that will be the attack over and done with. EOS finishing that tank off with a hefty, it could have been elite, but it's a 1,331 score right now. So we have a little.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, hey, this is pretty good, because again, they avoid any kind of catastrophe happening in that area with the log or anything like that. And I don't think like it was an intentional AI at first, like so that's why I don't feel like it was a dirty thing at all, because they were fighting that tank for a while. They did eat a rock, and then they managed to take it back, and the tank just wasn't in position to keep up with them. So that's the interesting call there from both sides, depending on how they want to go out with it. Boomer getting nicely popped by Hib. Hunter is going to try to go in after this Jockey. Hunter does get speeded by Lucky Lock right there. I think that was about to land onto Hib, but Lucky saved Hib's face right there by shooting that Hunter out of the sky.
Yeah, and this is a really big score here for Team EOS. They can't make the safe room with this. If they do, that's going to be a big dent in the score here for Talk 3, and that's going to be something that they can't let go, and they're going to have to mirror it. But as it stands right now, the score difference being 1,700 points, plus whatever points they get from this and their health bonus, if they make the boat. I mean, we still have another tank to go, and it could be quite a doozy. They're
going to play outside. They're going to play on top of the hedges here. I like that call for a couple reasons, but it does depend on how the survivors can cover each other. If they manage to get separated, that could be the only devastating thing that goes on. The hit from Talk 3 is coming in. Jockey from the back is going to get shut down. Hunter coming in from the side, going to land for a split second, but the Charger again got annihilated. Spit is going to go in, and it's not going to land much of anything. These have been some of the cleanest takes from Team Element Surprise I've seen from them the entire tournament so far.
Indeed, and I mean, once again, these hedges are a good spot to take the hits until someone gets pulled off and a boom lands, because then the common just climb up on top of the bushes from all sides, and you get like indefinitely common locked, and it's a real pain. I've tried this tactic. It's basically a high risk, high reward. If someone gets pulled off and you gotta get to them and clear them, don't count your money. That's going to be the same day that you get to them and clear them, because it's going to take you a while.
Right.
But Boom goes out, lands down to Nick here, and now they're going to start rotating. See, they know they don't want to be stuck in a position where they're all stuck on top of the bushes when someone gets boomed. Hunter getting obliterated, though. Smoker pull going on Ellis, and now they might work back onto the bushes here. They might look to regain that high ground, and indeed they're going to do just that. They've had it happen before, I guess. But no, actually, they might back out to the open area. Or no, they were just clearing the comet because they know it's going to pile on top of Nick and probably lock him up.
Yeah, now they're going to be able to retake that high position, as you mentioned right here. They're actually moving across, jumping around. I love the movement from Element Surprise right here. It's just one of those like fancy things that you see. And again, yes, it is hip strats, I'm aware, chat, but at the same point in time, like, they've worked so far this game. We can say that so far. Like, so far, the calls that have been made have been pretty damn good coming out from Element Surprise.
Horde should be able to keep coming in a second here. I do believe that they're going to get even more distance due to the fact this is the ace mod finale scoring. Here comes the next wave of Horde. Charger, Spitter, Jockey, Boomer for the next hit from Team Talk 3. Boomer spawning up on the side right there. It's going to get nicely popped. Another shutdown. And now the Jockey's going to spawn up too. Going in pretty much solo bolo. Getting M2 shut down. Charger going in. Same story, Kiss Me.
Yeah, it's rough. If you don't pull a Survivor off of the bushes, throwing the boom in early isn't going to really help you because basically they're playing on top of a square. The Survivors, like the bushes, basically make up a square for the most part. So if you hear the Survivor off to your left, you know he's on the left side of the square. Like there's not really that many variables to throw into the gears here. It's very straightforward, and they can easily get the pop whenever it spawns up. Whenever it you know, on anything, they can kill it very quickly just by sound, let alone actual sight. But regardless, next attack coming up here, Charger, Spitter, Smoker, and a Hunter. So a big 3-1, no boom, but this could be pretty devastating if they can pull a Survivor off and actually manage to make it happen. Smoker misses the tongue, though. Hunter getting obliterated out of the air like a freaking skeet. Or not a skeet, but a like a clay bird. Like they're going clay shooting.
That's so, I mean, they've taken some residual common shit, but the SI damage itself has not been that impressive. You had that one Rocket Land 2, 48, 42, 10-4. That's really not a whole lot from the Special Infected team going into the second tank. They're looking great right now. They have 8 sets of pills.
Yeah, they haven't popped a single set of pills, plus they have the 4 on the table, which is just guaranteed. Shady's actually going to pop a set here. I'm not too confident in that call, but Boomer does land a single boom out of there, Shelly. Yeah, Spit goes down onto absolutely nothing. Jockey looking for a grab here on Nick, not going to find it. And this tank in the hands of M4, he's going to get hunted down by the Survivors. And this is pretty rough because the tank has to climb over that fence. But actually, I think Ellis might be able to peer over the fence here if he hops on top of the bush.
That's what they're going to try to do. This is a very, very shitty spawn for Team Talk 3 right here. Like, this is not what you want to see if you're the Special Infected. Like, you would have preferred the roof or something because, well, let's say he doesn't get the wipe here. That means that's going to give even more just, like, more of a commanding lead for Team Element Surprise, closer to what we originally expected. He actually might have to commit right here, and I think that's what we're seeing. Smoker, Charger, Boomer for the SI support. Tank is going right in. Boomer's gonna spawn up, gets a double boom. That's good for Team Talk 3, but this tank, 4,500 HP, being pushed to the other side. The Horde is far away right now. Charger's gonna go and manages to land a set off the tank. That's gonna be the rock going out onto Coach. That should be the in-cap onto Hib. Boomer is walking his way around as well, but Hib is going to get punched away. There is a common block Survivor now. Tank is doing a pretty good amount of work on to Shady, getting the full in-cap. Going to climb out. He has about 400 HP left, getting shot a lot right here. That rock is not going to land. Interesting call right there, Kiss Me, but because of that tank's positioning, that's the best they probably could have gotten out of that.
Yeah, once again, this tank is a very hit or miss thing. If the Survivors played out there, and you decide for like a rock tank, you're not going to land on your rocks. There's a lot of LOS spots as well that don't have many spawns to actually counter them. And it looks like the Stars might play a little aggressive here. I mean, they went ahead and picked up some more pills, obviously, because they popped probably 3 of them so far. So they probably have 1 set left on the actual bench. Another rock coming down from the balcony here on the Survivors. Will not find a target, barely whiffing on her shell. She sidestepped that one to the last second while fighting the Hunter. And that will be pretty much a dead tank. This tank is just getting wall banged through the floor. Took away half his HP from that 1 shotgun shell. And, yeah, he has 151 HP left to his name, 3% of his HP. And he's just going to start breaking walls in frustration. That's an AI tank.
Indeed it is. AI tank going to drop down right here. He's found one of the Survivors inside. That is going to be the kill onto him. If they find him, yep, there it is. So that's the tank getting 1 in-cap there plus the other damage. That in-cap is pretty important, I would say. Single boom going out, but this is going to be Team Elmo Surprise making the 4th map right here because that door is instantly open. Charger, Smoker, and another spawn coming up. Oh, EOS already pushed their way through. This is going to be a huge bonus if they actually manage to make this. That Smoker and Charger tried to spawn on the right-hand side of there, getting the pull on the Tool. Tool's going to get charged, but the charge gets cleared. Spit's going to go in, not going to find a target, and Kiss Me, this is going to be Team Element of Surprise pulling it together for sure on Survivor on that last map right there. Pretty big deal they managed to make that and take those hits in between so well, bringing their total score for the home game to 3,900 points. That's what I was looking for from Element of Surprise.
That is a score barrier. That's a brick wall to cut down, and Talk 3 is going to have to break that down on their next game. Obviously, they still have to they've yet to go on this half of this game, so we'll see if they can actually break that 1K marker. I'm hoping they can break the 1K and you know, bring it down to like a 2,900 point score differential. Ow. But that's a big score, and they're gonna have to play some amazing SI in the away game because they have to basically shut down EOS from making any safe rooms. They can't even let them get distance, a lone health bonus. And they're fighting an uphill battle now. There's no doubt.
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted right there. Like, again, at the start of this, I mentioned how it would be important for Team Element Surprise to get something like that. And originally they weren't going to do it, but 1,500 points on the last map is an incredible score for whatever ping that you're playing on, in my opinion. Like, that was really, really important. And with the higher ping now, like, Talk 3 is going to probably have to, like... If they can make the boat, that would be absolutely spectacular, but you don't usually see that either way. But Team Element Surprise just took that so effectively. And that again, the 1,500 points on the last map, like that, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, because that was such an interesting play coming out, where they were able to run around on top of the hedges and just keep transitioning and take almost no damage. And it's not like the SI from Talk 3 have been like mal-coordinated. It's just they've been getting completely obliterated by Team Element of Surprise. And it better be, if Talk 3 wants any hope of winning the series at all, they're going to have to do the same exact thing when we switch servers and go over to Asia.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see something different, and obviously with EOS, they're gonna have much higher pings going over there. But we'll see how well they can hold it together. And yeah, so we'll be going to the last half of the game 1 here in a few seconds, as soon as whatever happens. And I'm not too sure why that pause went out, or it wasn't even a pause, but the non-readiness of
bathroom.
EOS. Oh, okay. I just thought you said 1 minute, and I was like, okay. I was like, this doesn't tell us much though.
I'll be interested to see exactly who Team Element Surprise runs for their second game, like if they're going to have Lucky sit out and have Han come in or something like that.
I could see that happening. I think Han's online at this point. This game was actually supposed to start right about now, but we had to start a little bit early because the time conversion got mixed up. And obviously it was like 1 in the morning for Taktaktak when this game started, so we didn't want them staying up until 3 to actually play the game. That would have been hard for them, and then they also have to play a second game as well, so... Regardless, though, Tekkaman, Jockey gets shut down. Charger grabs 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punches onto Caesar. 3 boom landing, and that's actually quite a number onto the health bonus after that first hit. Very unorthodox hit as well. That was like a 1x1, and somehow it worked.
I mean, it did. It got a little bit of damage out right there. Now, I believe the tank is going to be into the hands of Lucky Lock. If he didn't get anything at all, like past 1 rock that we saw the Mallet, that's going to be even more of a victory for Team Element Surprise. Nice smoker pull going out the back. Hunter almost hit the intercept, and they actually do land a 2-cap right there. That spins going around on top of Ellis as well. That's a lot of damage. Kiss me, what are we watching?
Caesar, I'm really not sure. Just the Survivor's not moving forward quick enough, taking a lot of damage from that second hit there. I mean, going from the first safe room hit, which is obviously like 10 feet back, they moved 5 feet forward and took another hit and like triple the damage that they did on the first hit. I'm not too sure why they moved so slow out of there, but obviously EOS not going to hold up. There was no pause, there was no one stuck, and they're just going to throw that hit in, and they reap the benefits. Beautiful double cap as well, and the interception on the clear smoker as well by the Jockey. But Taktaktak smoker, but this get pulled under a shell. Immediately on the Jockey pushes him away. Charger shut down, Boomer shut down. Smoker finally killed off, and that will be the attack over and done with. And we'll be moving up to potentially the Witch. I think there will be a hit up for the Witch though, so that could make things a little interesting.
Say what you will again about the ping disparity so far, but if you're Talk 3, you've got to be at least a little bit frustrated with how this game has gone, depending on, like, just even the SI play, but also some of these clears on Survivor have made no sense. They've taken a lot of damage when they probably shouldn't have. Spitter's going to pre-spawn behind the tractor over here. Charger, Jockey, and Hunter coming in right now, trying to land much of anything. The Hunter does manage to land. Spitter already pre-spit, though. Jockey now manages to land as well. Spit's going to go in there and get a scratch, too, so again, a little bit more chip damage, but this Witch should be pretty much free now for Team Talk 3.
Yeah, and they threw that hit in a little bit early. I could understand they didn't really want to wait for this Witch. It's a very iffy Witch at best. But she's not going to make it to Ellis, who was the drawer, and that will be the tank coming up as well here. It will be in the hands of Lucky Lock, so a fairly decent tank. I usually compare his tanks to like Tool. I don't know why, but the way they play seems so similar. But I don't believe Tool ever mentored him or taught him anything. But I always just compare Lucky Lock to Tool. It's just the play style and the way they move or something.
They've played on the same team for a few tournaments now. It's been at least since RBT3, and I think they were in EQ together as well, if I'm not mistaken. Boomer going in, trying to get a boom, not going to land. And I agree with what you're saying there, where it's the same kind of style, where it's like, usually it's pretty smart plays coming out from both of them. Like, that's the thing about it, where all these tanks, like, okay, yeah, Tool's a beast tank, and sometimes Hibbs can go hit or miss. Usually they're pretty good as of late, though. I've seen him play a lot of good tanks in this tournament. But every tank is solid, every tank is smart. They're not going to do stuff that's typically, like, brash or something like that unless they really, really need to. Like, they're high percentage tanks, and they usually do a pretty good job of doing what they need to do to get damage on the survivors. There's no weak tank on that team, in my opinion.
Indeed, and we'll see this tank start committing here. Actually, Coach pushing up into his face here, looking for a corner, gonna actually come off from the survivors. And yeah, Coach actually being, or the tank actually, the one being rung around the rosy here. Looks for a rock onto Coach, not gonna find it, hits the truck, jumps on top of the truck with Coach. He does find a corner, a makeshift corner here, that being that defense. And it's gonna be 3 punches onto Coach here. Actually, 4 punches. That might be an in cap. No, he actually had 100 HP, so Matt not taking an in cap just yet. Smoker grabbed a pull, nice double cap happening. Smoker tongue doesn't clear, punch out onto Rochelle, another turnaround punch onto Ellis. And that should be a dead tank, but no, he misses that punch. That's the log there, but he gets meleeed down before he can hit the log. Ellis was actually standing on top of the log.
Look at the damage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna mark that off by any means. That's a lot of damage. They're sitting at the health bonus that EOS made the boat with post tank.
That's insane. Like that tank right there should have gotten nothing, like at all. But he got that corner onto Coach. He juked. Like, Coach had him juked at first, and the tank jumped on top of there, managed to get 3 or 4 punches onto him, obliterated his bonus, turned around, got another punch off his support. Like that's exactly what you'd want to see in an area like that. Just best case scenario. Charger managing to land right here too, onto Ellis, stickling on top of that. That's an in-cap kiss me. The story continues right here. Element of Surprise dominating at this point.
Yeah, they're just picking them apart one by one. They do have Force Its Pills waiting for them outside on the table. But Coach is going to make a beeline for the button here. Going to start the event as they work on picking up Elsevier through the Horde. And they're going to do just that. And they're looking to start that event now. Coach is obviously already spamming E on the button, trying to get it moving. And it actually looked like he gave up and went for pills instead. I'm surprised he didn't go for the start on that. And smoking over pull here on to Kuma. Not going to find it though. Hunter latching onto Coach there in the front. Pull going on onto Kuma on the back. Now does land. Charger lands onto him as well. That's going to be a lot of damage onto Kuma. Double boom landing as well. And that's going to cause more Horde. And it seems like Talk3 just can't get away from these common, let alone the SI. They are just all over them like white on rice.
I get it because they're an Asian team.
Well, no, it's literally just it's a lot of white in rice.
That's true.
Because everything's just white.
But it was a serendipitous analogy. I like it. I like.
I did say because they're Asians. It's an analogy.
Coming up next for Team Element of Surprise, Jockey's gonna get M2 to round right there. Charger's not gonna be able to land. Pretty nice shutdown coming out on the whole from Talk3. But again, they only have 3 sets of pills, and they have almost everybody bleeding. Like, as soon as M4 or Kuma pop their pills, they're going to be bleeding as well.
I'll kill you, Purple. Purple in chat. Oh, my God. But, yeah, so they're going to go ahead and take that hit. Taking quite a bit of damage once again. But, yeah, Caesar, Matt, and both bleeding out entirely here. Kuma need a set of pills as well. They did actually start the event, right?
Yes, they did. That's why I think the commoner, like, I know what you mean because the points aren't ticking up right now, but I think it's because there's just another wave. But yeah, I think they just unstuck. So, Charger, Jockey, Hunter coming in. Jockey's gonna come in, not able to get a whole lot. Charger's gonna whiff as well. Boomer did get a tri-boom, but at this point, I see Talk3 making it to the tank. Maybe they're able to survive it, but that's gonna give EOS like a 2,500 point advantage going into the next game at least. Indeed,
and I mean, even going into the next game, the away game for EOS, they have a history of playing on Asian servers and whatnot, so they're not going to be unfamiliar with the pings at all. They've pretty much had to play against Asian teams the past 3 weeks in a row. They've had quite the interesting lineup of Asian teams to say the least. But here comes the attack here. Spit goes down. Preempt the spit. Hunter latches on the survivor inside the spit. Jockey latching under Rochelle, dragging her into as well. What a preemptive spit there. The Hunter said, "I'm going for Nick." Spit. And the spitter just spat all over it. Hunter did manage to land on him in the spit, just totally magnifying the spit damage. And that's going to be, yeah, that was a hell of a hit. 2 pills left on Team Talk3. They will be coming up with a tank here probably in another minute or so. So they have quite a bit of Horde to still go through here. And yeah, we'll see them try to pick down that smoke from far away, but not coming to any fruition.
27 HP Smoker trying to make plays right here. Not a whole lot he can do at this point. Boomer, Charger, Hunter for the rest of the hit. Boomer sprung up, getting a single boom out onto Coach. Smoker working his way in as well, trying to get that land, but right now they're just letting them bleed out just a little bit more. Charger rocketing from the top, managing to land a double charge onto Ellis out into the open field. There's the Hunter landing as well. Great amount of separation and a great amount of damage going on here. Kiss me, just absolute destruction on the Talk3.
That was a beautiful rocket spawn there by whoever that Charger was, and that just pins the survivors into a place of no coming back, and pretty much no forgiveness either. That's going to be an in-cap going on Nick here as the common do finally managed to corral him in the corner, and he doesn't have M2s to kill himself, and his other survivor comrades were just too busy with other pressing matters. So now there's 1 pill left on Kuma. Everyone is bleeding out here for Team Talk3. Health bonus sitting at a measly 28. They have been decimated. Boomer gets popped, Spitter gets shut down. Attack is decimated, but Tank is now up in the hands of Shady. And this is 99.9999% going to be a wipe. There's just no crawling back from this. Caesar's black and white has the highest HP of the survivors, and there's one Sentinel left on Kuma. Hopefully they remember that he still has those.
So you can just play bleed out to second pass and roll and kill them. I think that's what they're probably going to do, because again, it's this high percentage wipe rate scenario with 3 of the survivors almost at 1 HP. Like, it's really hard to screw that up. I have seen it happen, though. I will say that I've seen tanks die from Uzi slowdown or something like that at that distance with that health. So they're just going to play it safe. Nice rock landing onto M4 right there, and that should be the commit. This will be the wipe. Coming out from Element of Surprise, 1 2 with the survivors, getting the punch out on the coach. There's 1 survivor still fast. It doesn't really matter because he's going to be able to get his way back out. Charger spawn up above as well, dropping out, getting the charge onto M4. Rock almost landing onto Ellis right there. That would have been a pretty nice curve rock, but instead Tanks is going to play it safe, camping his way out right here. Still going to be able to stand up there and stare the survivors in the face. Throwing another rock downstairs, missing the rock onto Nick. He still has 4k HP. This really should be a wipe by now, but it's not for whatever reason. Jockey's going to go in now as well. Nice rock landing onto Caesar. Every one of them slow, and they are playing just the high percentage wipe right here. Another rock going in, almost landing onto Ellis. Tank might find his way in when that happens. Jockey trolling the in-cap as well. Rock going in, killing M4, and this is going to be the wipe Kidney. We're going to see the tank jump in right there, get the punch onto Ellis, and that is going to be team, nice charge, Element of Surprise taking the win over Top 3 on the home server as predicted by a score of 3,900 to 1,419. So that's just under 2,500 points, 2481 going into the Asia server.
Indeed, and we'll be moving right over to that next game here in a couple of seconds as we just wait for the teams to kind of go ahead and just switch over to the appropriate servers. So we'll have a bit of a lull here in the action as always, guys. Once again, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. We have a packed lineup today for games and whatnot, so hopefully you guys are hungry for some Left 4 Dead 2. Once again, the second game will be happening relatively soon. We just need them to swap servers and then we should be good to go, so there shouldn't be too much of a delay, but we'll wait and see what the exact line of time here is, and yeah.
What are the other, just out of curiosity, what other games do we have on the docket for today? Do you know?